Hey everybody, Edie here. We got Edie, we got Nick. We're just doing our pre-show stuff. Again, I'm going no makeup. I am 2 beers in, probably going to be 3. Nick is going to spike his coffee as soon as Shepard wakes up.
Which, honestly, at this point, might not be for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, you might want to go just spike your coffee now.
I can't.
Nick, go
Look-
spike your
look at him,
fucking
look at him.
coffee. No,
Look, he's
he'll
too
be
cute.
back. He literally will come right back.
I can't break it.
Yeah, you
I
can.
can't
Just go
break
do
that
it.
spell.
Go do it. Go do it. It's not a spell. It's a cat. It's gonna come back.
It's a spell. And see, look, the other one's sleeping over there too.
Yeah.
We got a whole sleeping going on. Sleep
No,
over.
just go spike your coffee now. Seriously. Hey, it's
I
Red.
know. Right.
Oh, so I was out today, smogging the car, the old car. Not the new
Oh,
one,
you mean getting a
obviously.
smog check?
Yeah, smog check. Because
I like the idea of you took a hose with you filled it with smog.
smog.
You gotta smog up the inside, to get at that old car smell.
Yeah. No, the old car. I'm selling it, and in California, passing the smog check, you have to pass a smog check in order to sell your car, your used car, and that is the responsibility of the seller.
Okay.
By the way,
I'm not sure I understand.
shut up, Siri. Yeah, my other car is a Tesla. It's wonderful. And here's the ultimate fuck you. All right, so remember I was talking about last week that I've already curb rashed my tires
Mm-hmm.
this week.
What? Oh my God! Did you scratch like the hood or something?
They released an update to the software that adds a curb notification
Oh,
that tells you how far away from the curb you are and gives you an alert to say that you're too close.
you were 1 week away. 1 week away.
1 week away. So now I am on the quest for the perfect back seat cover for my car, my back seats for the dogs. I tried to go cheap and it's fine, but doesn't fit despite the fact that it's supposedly made for the Y, and everybody says, oh, it fits perfectly. No, it fucking doesn't. So I just bit the bullet and bought the Tesla one from Tesla, which is not cheap.
I mean, that's one of the issues I have with Tesla is that they're like Apple in that, yeah, we made our car. Nothing else works with our car. If you want anything with our car, you got to get it from us.
I've seen other companies that make them and they're fine. I think I just went for the most inexpensive one. I went for the $40 one instead of the $100 one. And I think that that's my mistake. I mean, it's, it's nice, packaged nice and everything, and it certainly would, be fine, except for, and honestly, Tesla's is just so much better because it's actually multi-pieces that actually protect your doors, where the other ones just protect your seat, not the doors. Because your dog inevitably will jump up on the armrest to stick his nose out, specifically her nose out the window or up against the window.
So what is this thing? Does it like flip over the windowsill of the door?
No, it's kind of like a hammock in the back. It covers the seats and then goes up covers the back seat all the way to the seat and then goes up the front seat. So it's kind of like a hammock.
That thing's huge.
Yeah, and then Teslas actually have 2 door protectors that you can slide into the door, and it protects the actual door itself from little dogs being on the seat. So I looked at a lot of them. I went for the cheapest one because I thought it's fine. And then I got it and it's like, yeah, not fine. I mean, it's fine, but it doesn't fit. And it's awkward. It's not good. So I'm just paid up for the Tesla one. You get what you pay for. Yeah, the thing is that if I was taller, it wouldn't be a problem because I'm short relatively. I'm actually not that short. I'm 5'5". That's an average woman, but I have short legs, long body. So my seats are usually fairly close. And the back seat, the positioning of my seat being forward has turned the hammock literally into a floating hammock in the back of my car. It just sits there and floats, and then the dogs kind of get in it and go, I can't move, I'm being made into a burrito. It's like, well, you're just gonna have to live until the Tesla the one shows up. So I'm ready for the show. I mean, I guess I'm ready, sort of. Do you want to go spike your coffee before we start the show? Because I'm going to go refill my beer before we start the show.
No, I can't move.
Hi, Kitty. Kitty.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go grab some beer, and then we're gonna start the show. Y'all okay with that? All right. And yeah, if you read the description for this, I'm a little salty because that's what I do when I've had a couple of beers. So I'll be back. Nick, entertain the masses.
Okay. Salty. Yeah, I was commenting to her that, like, wow, you titled the episode about Redfall? Like, what did Redfall do that was so egregious that it would take title precedence over, like, showing off Final Fantasy, Suicide Squad getting delayed into next year, military secrets being leaked on a Minecraft Discord? But no, fuck Redfall. Yeah. So I'm curious to see what the what Redfall's giant sin is. Until then, oh yeah, AC Wraith. I know you've been watching. You finished the MCU pretty much. Yeah, 1 through 3. No, I thought you said on. Oh yeah, 3 is the big one. Yeah, you finished MCU phases 1 through 3. That is insane. I feel like you started that a week ago. That's like 20 movies over the course of 7 days. That's insane. And yeah, trying to do phase 4, because on Discord he mentioned, like, oh, phase 4 has a lot more TV shows. That's a lot more harder, I would say, to be complete on, because they really want you to have a Disney Plus subscription.
I apologize for any burps. I hate it when people burp, but especially on stream, but beer. So let's start the show. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. We are GameHounds. Somewhere along the line, we have GameHounds. Hi, I'm Edie. Got Nick, and we're ready to go. Anything else before we start it?
I'm good.
Okay, then let's start the show.
Podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 676. We're recording this on Sunday, April 16th, 2023. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick Dakota. How are you, Nick?
I'm good.
So Nick and I have a date this week.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we're going out to the theater because we're so classy.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go see the musical.
Yes. It's modeled after Death of a Salesman.
Oh, is it?
No.
Okay.
It's modeled after the fucking board game.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to the theater because we're classy. And I actually have to figure out how I'm going to take. I made that agreement before I realized I can't go to work that day because I have dogs.
Oh.
Yeah, and I don't have everybody to take care of the dogs if I'm going to be out for.
Yeah, see, I'm not going to go into the office then. But you showed me that website that's used for travel. And I realized, I could just kind of take 2 trains there and get there in like an hour.
Yes.
Which it would take anyways, trying to go through traffic at rush hour in the city.
Yes.
So,
In fact,
worked out well.
I want to, I mean, not paid. I've used this app traveling around Europe, actually wherever I go, including where I live. I use this app. It's an app called Rome to Rio. Rome to Rio, you just put where you are, you put where you're going, literally anywhere in the world, and it will show you all the public transportation to get there. And it's not like you can do trip planners with Google and stuff, but it's not as good as Rome to Rio, because Rome to Rio uses ferries and trains and other transport. It's just fantastic. It assumes that you are a traveler in the area without a vehicle, as opposed to Google, which assumes that you're in that area and you have a car. And then you have to kind of like tell it that you want public transportation. And it gives you kind of a kludgy way to get there. But like I proved to my friend who lives up at Clear Lake, and he's like, there's no trains that go here. And I'm like, let me put it in Rome to Rio. And it's like, oh yeah, you take the train from San Rafael up to San Rosa. And that gets me almost most of the way there. And he's like, oh wow, I didn't know that. I'm like, yeah, Rome to Rio, dude, use it. So even if no matter where you are, even if you don't travel, Rome to Rio is by far the best. And it's an app on, I know it's on Apple. I'm pretty sure it would be on Android as well. So yeah, and I've used it for years, and it's by far, like, there's very few apps that I've used for years that still remain at the top of my list of things that I can continue to go to. That is one of them. So, hey, you got Chunder in the chat room. How you doing? All the way down from down under. And howdy, lovelies. Thank you, Retro Rents AL. Thank you. We are doing well. We are. I am. This is the third of the alcohol. Nick would be drinking, but he can't because his cat has pinned him in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cat. It comes back. I will bet
the life
you.
of a cat owner.
I will bet you cash money that if you got up, spiked your drink, came back, that cat would jump up and settle back in exactly how he is right now.
Very likely.
Within 30 seconds of you sitting down.
I don't know if it would take that short.
You want to take that bet?
No, because then I would have to interrupt him. It's not about him coming back. It's about the interruption.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It's a cat.
I forget, there's like a one strip comic that I saw that I've always remembered. It's a fire station, and like the bell's ringing, everyone's running to their cars, and one of the guys is sitting in a chair with the cat on his lap, and he says, "I'll get the next one."
Cat owners.
Like,
this is why we don't like cat owners. This is why we like dog people. Dog people are like, I'm getting up, and the dog is like, okay, where are we going? The kitchen. Cool. Okay, we're coming back for the kitchen. Awesome.
What happened with the last 2 audio episodes?
Oh, I actually am I've just downloaded them because they have to be prepped. So the StreamYard, you have to prep your audio before you download it. I've prepped both of them. I've downloaded both of them, and they're both going to go up today. As soon as I'm done. In fact, I would be doing it now if I weren't here. So there you go. Let's see, what else have we got before we start? Oh, we have already started. What you been playing? I have not played anything. I have been not playing. I've been doing a lot. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of hooked on a couple of different really good K-dramas that kind of got me. Actually, one of them not a K-drama. I take it back. One that is a Netflix original.
I mean, it could still be a K-drama if it's produced in Korea.
It's true, but it's actually an American one with Rob Lowe. It's called
was it the half-hour sitcom?
Mm-hmm.
It's something, right?
Unstable.
Yeah, I put that on my list because I watched like the trailer and it seemed pretty funny.
It's really funny. And I didn't know it until the very last episode because I never watched the credits until after, like, at the end of a series, because then there's no next episode you can just hit. Um the guy who plays his son is his son in real life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's really good. It's
Yeah,
really, really good.
the only thing I've seen of it was, what on Netflix auto plays like a little clip when you
Mhm.
hover over something? It was just that for 30 seconds. But it was a funny little clip that reminded me so much of an old show called Better Off Ted.
That was the one with the girl who got hit with the toilet seat from the space, from
No, that was a Dead Like Me.
Dead Like Me. What's Better Off Dead?
No, Better Off Ted. Better Off Ted is like it might be on Netflix. It's a workplace comedy, like, 30-minute sitcom.
Okay.
But it's like scientists working in this completely unethical like research lab, and it's just a bunch of like, oh, here's some inventions that do this. One of the episodes had in order to save money, we have motion detectors in all the rooms so that the lights turn off when no one's there and it turns on when someone's there, but the lights don't recognize black people. And so then it becomes a whole thing of like the one black guy's like, wait, no, you can't leave. I need you here to work. If you leave, the light goes off. The lights are raised. What is going on here?
Yeah, okay.
It's a really good show.
It's right. And so I will actually hunt that down now because I enjoyed Unstable so much. It is a sort of a workplace comedy, I guess. That Rob Lowe plays a tech genius that is biotech genius that is kind of like a Steve Jobsian kind of character, but he has recently lost his wife and he's kind of gone off the deep end, and he's so famous and so popular, that he is larger than life, and his son has left because he doesn't want to be part of this. He's tired of being this guy's son. He just wants to have a normal life where he doesn't have a dad who's trying to make him a clone of himself. So he's like, I'm out. And the dad, since the wife died, is not doing well at all. Still coming into work, but he is unstable. So they haul the son back from New York City to try to get his father back on track. And it rapidly devolves from that. It starts out being about that, and rapidly just comes down to a workplace comedy where the son is actually there and working in the lab. The father's working in the lab, and just some kind of like extreme wild characters that it's really funny.
Good.
It's also harmless. It's nothing like fantastic or great or mind changing or anything like that, but it's good, half hour, good comedy.
Yeah. I started rewatching BoJack Horseman a couple days ago, just because I was like flicking through and I saw that and thought, yeah, I stopped halfway through and I never saw the last 3 seasons.
Oh, really?
Because it's 6 seasons, I only saw 3, so I was like, I'll start this over again. And boy, what a goofy, like funny, pun-filled show that will suddenly hit you in the face with the sad stick and just be like, boy.
Yeah.
Aren't these like characters assholes? Aren't they just sad, miserable people? But then it has a pun about an armadillo, and you're like, ha, 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 armadillos.
Right. Yeah, I remember you tried to get me to watch BoJack Horseman, and I watched one episode, and I was like, fuck this is terrible. Kevin and I went and finally watched it. Like, all right, let's give it another shot. So we did. And it ended up being, unbeknownst to us, the last full show that we ever watched together, that we actually completed together. And it was a great show for that, because the wrap up, The final season gets a little bit loosey-goosey, but the final wrap-up feels very satisfying.
Oh, good.
Yeah, very heartfelt. The last season, I think, is a little bit more philosophical than others. Than like haha and aren't these people sad?
Which makes sense because the show kind of swings between, like I said, animal puns with biting insight into the human experience.
Mhm.
It's like, oh my God, it's a talking horse contemplating like these existential questions about who we are, nature versus nurture. Can we ever change who we are? Are we doomed to repeat the same cycles that we get stuck in? And then he makes a horse pun.
Mhm. I actually met a woman who I can't remember where I heard it. Maybe it was in some YouTube video somewhere. She's got a golden retriever named Mr. Peanut Butter. So anyway, what you been playing?
Mm-hmm. I didn't actually put it in the banner, but I've been playing Horizon Forbidden West. I started that after I beat all the other things I was playing. Like I beat Atomic Heart. I jumped into, I forget it was like John Wick and then something else last week that I kind of dabbled with, but I wanted to finally get into Forbidden West. And it's good. I'm enjoying it. It's also really weird to go from Horizon Call of the Mountain, the VR game, to Horizon Forbidden West, because in Call of the Mountain, I'm just playing as a dude, right? I'm playing as an average guy in this fictional world trying to climb a mountain to track down somebody. In Forbidden West, I'm playing as the main character. And that's clearly different in the gameplay experiences, where Call of the Mountain has a lot of, okay, I'm going to climb this mountain and I'm going to hand over hand, climb up. Oh, there's a dinosaur. I'm fighting 2 dinosaur robots. And like, this is tough. This is a challenge. Forbidden West, opens with Aloy climbing a giant, a giant structure that she has to tip over to destroy 3 giant snake robots. And it does tip over. And as it falls, she like Lego losses her way, jumping from one falling piece of debris to another to land on the ground safely, has this giant structure falls behind her. And watching that, I was like, okay, this is not Call of Mountain. This is the main character.
Horizon.
This is what happens when the main character does action. Call of Mountain is just like, I don't know, I'm a dude, I'm a side character. That's it. I get the ability to climb and maybe shoot some arrows. Well, Aloy gets to be the hero, right? And
yeah.
It's very,
and that makes sense because if you're going to have a continuation of the main character story, you want that story to have heft compared to other characters within that realm.
Yeah, and it wouldn't feel right to go from Aloy, climbing these giant structures, fighting these giant robots, to then all of a sudden, oh, she's struggling to pull a rope. Like, it wouldn't make any sense. The scale of the action wouldn't fit. And so, yeah, it's a difference that makes a lot of sense, but it's funny to play them side by side and just see the completely different scales that they are working off of.
Right.
But other than that, playing Horizon reminds me in a good way that it was a game that always kind of ripped off the best pieces of other games. It's got a little bit of Skyrim. It's got a little bit of Mass Effect. It's got a little bit of Final Fantasy. It's got a little bit of Uncharted. It's all these things mashed together, but it works. It's like, as you're exploring the world, you got a little compass at the top of the screen that will show you nearby, interesting things like Skyrim. So if I'm looking around and I see, oh, there's a campfire over there. That's a good checkpoint. I should go do that. Oh, there's a question mark over there. Let me go see what that is. Oh, there's a hunting ground. Let me go investigate that. So it's got the kind of, oh, let me go see what's over there that Skyrim does. but there's a lot of conversations Mass Effect style, where you've got you've even got a dialogue wheel where, you've got a little wheel and you choose what you want to talk about by selecting something.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember way back when Mass Effect first came out, people were so impressed with the animation, right? These characters are just talking to each other, just blatant exposition at each other. Oh, so you're from this tribe. Okay, can you tell me all about the history of that tribe? Where did you come from? Where are you going? It is just total exposition. And with Mass Effect, people were like, oh man, these characters like move around and they blink and they kind of move their head as they talk, and it looks so realistic. This game blows all that out of the water. Like Mass Effect looks like a 2-bit pixel game at this point, because
Mm-hmm.
they have like full acting,
Right.
where characters like they look down, they up the facial expressions as they're delivering this exposition is so good and so detailed that like you get real subtleties out of their performance, where if someone doesn't like something, they kind of cock their head to the side and raise an eyebrow like, that guy, and you see that on their face. You see these really subtle, nuanced performances, and it's kind of hypnotizing, just realizing, oh my God, this looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But what's kind of more incredible from a tech point of view is that this is just expository dialogue. So if I hit the X button, I can skip a sentence. And in a lot of ways, a lot of games, you hit the X button and the character skips the next line. You hit the X button, the character skips the next line. And normally, like, you can read subtitles faster than the characters speak it. So in a lot of games, you kind of skip. In this game, you can still do that. So you're not just stuck watching these nuanced performances play out. If you hit X to skip a line, the whole thing skips a line. And it's just, it struck me that we've gotten to the point where you can play out these really high rendered, detailed cutscenes, but then skip them, like skip ahead 5 seconds, skip ahead 10 seconds, just skip to the next line and have everything flow seamlessly. That kind of visual presentation is so not easy to do, but that it's presented in a way that previously we could only do for text.
Right.
But other than that, the story I'm interested in.
How long have you been playing it? I mean, how far are you into the story?
At the beginning, I kind of just left the starting area.
Okay.
And the starting area is pretty big, though. Like it's a big starting area.
That's a
lot
thing
to do
these days.
But I don't mind that.
No, I don't mind it either. But like, for example, Valhalla, God, it was what, 2.5, 3 hours to get out of the starting area. That was the longest starting area.
And with Horizon, I liked that because it kind of gave me the ability to experience a condensed open world.
Mhm.
Oh, hey, there's a collectible. Like you climb these signal towers to collect the lenses up there, old lighthouses. And there's 6 of them in this area. And so instead of having this collectible spread out across the whole world, you've got a little mini collectible just in this starting area to just kind of give you a taste of what the collectathon in the larger world would be like. But yeah, I thought it was a nice way to condense everything together, and sort of give me an experience of what the whole game would be like, just on a bigger scale, to like, do I want to keep playing this? Do I like this mini version of the open world enough to want to see the bigger version? And I do. So, yeah.
Good. Anything else?
No, I'm liking the story so far. It's a goofy ass.
No, I mean like any other game.
Oh, okay. No, it's just Horizon.
I don't know what it is this last week or so. I really haven't had any inclinations to play anything. And I think it has to do with the fact that finally it warmed up in California. Is that we're no longer like huddling inside waiting for the next storm to hit. So it's been really, really nice. And just there's no, it's like if you're gonna be inside, why you want to be outside for as long as possible, because like even the evenings are nice now. They're not like horribly cold. So so yeah, maybe when I get bored of the sun.
Just open a window. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, actually that's I know that it's hit that point in time. I actually opened up my bedroom window to sleep. So it's officially spring. So in the bedroom window, actually, I need air circulation as opposed to just shut it all down and don't let anything in because you're freezing all night. All right. I wish I had something else to tell you, but I got nothing. Anybody want to buy a car?
Trying to remember if I played anything. Did I play anything last? No,
Yeah.
I really didn't. I still can't remember what I played. I remember I played John Wick Hex last week and something else. I could just check the banners.
Yeah, upstate New York, same thing. AC Ray says same here. Windows are open and the thermostat reads 72. Yep. It's about what we're at right now.
Loop Hero. I should go back and play Loop Hero. I enjoyed that.
Why do I was that a free game?
That was a Game Pass game that I played last week.
Right.
That's right. I like that. I want to go back to that.
Why did I remember something in the news about Loop Hero? Anyway. All right. So, I mean, let's, why not? I guess. I mean, what else are we going to do but hit it? Let's hit.
Yeah. Hit the news.
Let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary of the week of gaming with
I mean, we got to go with the title news.
Oh, all right. You want to do that? We don't have to. We
it's
rarely do. You're
it's
Mr.
really the biggest news of the
below
week.
the fold. So why don't you go below the fold?
It's clearly the biggest news of the week.
I would say, yeah, it's right up there. It's probably one of three really big stories, but actually, why don't you start off with the big story? Because you've got the big story.
Okay. The Super Mario Brothers movie.
No.
Yes. Ubisoft.
No.
No. The Suicide
No.
Squad. Final Fantasy.
Nope.
I don't think I have anything. Oh, EVE Online. The highest.
No. Just hit it. Just talk about it. Just talk about the leaker. Talk about the Yeah. Talk about the leaked Pentagon documents.
A bunch of military documents were leaked on Discord. What's funny is they first came to notice it on a Minecraft Discord, but that's not where it originally leaked. Because it was actually released like for a month before anybody noticed it. So the whole story is just hilariously dumb. I guess there's like a YouTube channel focused on guns that eventually people migrated to a Discord called Thug Shaker Central. And just a small Discord of friends, sharing a bunch of racist jokes with each other, as you all want to.
I was going to say, Thug, I mean, all of the names from the Discord channel to the name, to the chat name, the handle of the person who did it sound like white people, young white boys.
Yeah. So Thugs Shaker Central was the Discord server. Of theirs, there was a member named Oxide who posted a bunch of stuff about guns and body armor. But I guess he worked on TX Syria. It was the guy that leaked stuff.
The last name? No, his name was OG.
OG.
He was OG. Yeah.
Okay, well, OG.
And what was it? Something Texera? Not Sean Texera.
Yeah, I don't care about Texera. Yeah. But the guy that did it, he worked on an Air Force base. And he would regularly, commonly share classified intelligence. but he always like wrote it out. He didn't take pictures of classified documents. He just transcribed them.
What? I don't
Because that was
understand
his way.
why. Apparently, his whole family is like all about the military. All of his family served in the military. He was absolutely destined all through high school, said, I want to be a member of the military. And then he gets in the military and he leaks classified information on Discord.
I'm going to quote this from the Kotaku story because it's too good. However, the group's dynamics weren't always so flattering for Texera.
Texera.
Okay. Members originally ignored his classified transcriptions. He got upset when people were more interested in YouTube gun videos and started posting actual photos of the original documents. So basically, he posted these things because he wanted to impress his friends. And he's like, why are you watching YouTube videos and not my classified intelligence? Fine, I'm going to prove to you it's real. And here's the actual documents.
And he brought the documents home, and then he would take pictures of them and post it. And he would put them on a dining room table or a kitchen table or something like and you could see the table behind it. And when the cops busted in the door, they're like, hey, there's the table. Just silly, just stupid. Anyway, continuing.
And so how the files proliferated, like he originally posted them there. Then I think someone posted them to another Discord server for a comedy YouTuber called Wow Mao. And then they spread from there to the Minecraft server where more people picked them up. And they kind of like zeroed in on, oh wait, this is actual military intelligence leak.
Right. And the most recent information I read today is that the person that actually disseminated into all of the other places was a pro-Russian blogger who found
which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I'm interested. I'm curious because I know how I feel about this, but I am curious to know in the chat room, do you feel sorry for this stupid 21-year-old who just did something stupid to impress his friends? Or do you think that the book should be thrown at him?
I don't feel sorry because it happened over and over. Like, right, it wasn't a one-time thing.
Right.
But I also, when I first saw this, I thought, like weeks ago, I thought that it meant the intelligence leak actually came from within Minecraft itself, from a Minecraft server, which I thought would be more interesting because Minecraft is a way to get around state censorship.
Right.
Like there are other countries that censor different books and stuff. And there's like I don't know exactly the name of it, but I know there's a Minecraft server that is basically a big library that's full of books and writing banned by other countries that you can access, through Minecraft. And it's a way to kind of get around state censorship. Yeah. But this was just on a Discord.
So yeah, in general, I am seeing overall opinions that you don't feel sorry for this person and throw the book at them. Yeah, I think that anyone,
the world's library or something like that.
Yeah, I truly think that this person, what's his name? What's his first name? Something Texera. He should go to jail for many, many, many years, as in like throw away the key. That this is so, not only there's a part of me that says, yeah, it was dumb, but there's also a part of me that says that he knew, he had to have known that if this falls into the wrong hands, it could be severely dangerous to the United States as a whole, to Ukraine, I mean, there's an active war going on. This is the kind of information that the Russians love to have, is to find out exactly how prepared the Russians are, the Ukrainians are, where their weaknesses are. He
I
had
think
to
one of
have
them
known that this
was.
was fucking dangerous.
I think one of the things that was mentioned in the article is satellite images showing damage from Russian missile strikes, the potential trajectories of North American nukes aimed at the U.S.
Another thing that was part of that leak is the situation of the amount of ammo that is available to Ukraine right now, which is incredibly important to keep secret, because that's the big question, is how much ammo do you have? It doesn't matter if you've got all the tanks in the world. If you've got no shells, then they're not dangerous anymore. It just... I don't believe in the death penalty, but this...
I don't know if I
is
would
right
say that.
up there, military firing squad. I'm right there. I'm super angry.
I don't know if
I'm
I would
almost
go
more
that
super
far.
angry about it because it was somebody that wasn't like, if it's one thing if somebody gets in there and they're like, okay, they're Russians, they want to get this information, they leak, they know exactly what they're doing. When to have somebody who should know better and is literally like supposed to be protecting my country and does crap like this, it's like firing squad. I'm so angry about this.
I don't know. I find stupidity to be a more lenient excuse than maliciousness.
Yep.
As Helsing said, that the Minecraft library is called the Uncensored Library.
Yeah. And he also says a tank can run over a lot of people without shells. Yeah, but if they have no shells, they never get to the people. It was severely important for Ukraine to have that information stay secret.
So, you know what? You got to give kudos to the pro-Russian blogger for finding of just trolling Discord, spending the whole day trolling Discord, just trying to find out where can I get this? How do you stumble across that type of that little tiny Discord community?
Here's the thing.
That's an impressive amount of cyber espionage.
Right. Here's the thing is that I think that the learning lesson of this is not so much that you shouldn't be an idiot and don't do stuff like this, but for the general public, it's that how many Russian agents are in our Discord servers, are actually looking at everything. They're literally everywhere online. If you say it online, if you post it online, I mean, I include GameHound server, because I mean, this group was like 10 or 15 guys with originally. It's less people than we have on the GameHound server. I would assume that there's at least more than one person. Well, there's at least someone that is a member of this group that is probably would leak this information. They're literally everywhere.
Yeah, you know what? It's gonna be AC Wraith. He's too good. He's too good at posting links.
Chunder, looking at you, foreign nationals.
Or
all right, seriously, which
I'm
one of you is the spy? I want to know. Just be honest. It's okay. We won't tell anybody. Which one of you fuckers is a spy?
I'm looking at you, Edie. I'm looking at you.
Oh,
You're too pro Ukraine, right? You don't protest too much.
Yeah, I mean, they are everywhere. They're listening. They're watching. There's no such thing as a small Discord server anymore with just friends. Nope. Oh, there you go. There's our spy. Vice says, wait, Russian spy or just a spy? Good point. I mean, if you're spying for any country, I consider you a Russian spy.
What if it's not a country? What if it's like the Kingsmen or thing from Alias, where it's an espionage group that exists outside of country borders?
Blood Reaper has essentially told me that he's James Bond. He's admitted.
Hey, look, there are worse things to be.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Hey, Bond gets the job done.
He does. He does. And does it in style.
In between all those movies, he's really just on a computer trolling Discord. Like, that's what he's doing in between, like, fighting off Spectre, getting in these car chases. You only see the big action moments of his life.
AC Ray says his grandparents come from an Eastern European country that no longer exists. What country? Fredonia? Okay. Serious hardcore movie nerds just laughed their asses off at that one.
Which one?
Fredonia.
Don't know it.
Fredonia was the non-existent country that Groucho Marx was the dictator of in Animal Crackers. Yeah, he played a dictator. In what's the Marx the Marx Brothers movie? Fredonia. All I think is the Marx.
No, Charlie Chaplin actually was Hitler.
Yeah, he did a send up on Hitler. He did an absolute send up on Hitler. I'm
that's
looking
the only
it up.
dictator movie
Duck Soup. Where a tiny nation of Fredonia goes bankrupt, its wealthy benefactor, Mrs. Teasdale, Margaret Dumont, insists that the wacky Rufus T. Firefly, Groucho Marx, become the country's president. Sensing a weakness in leadership, the bordering nation of Sylvania sends in spies Pinky, Harpo Marx, and Chocolini, Chico Marx, to set the stage for a revolution. As Firefly clashes with the Sylvanian ambassador, plenty of mayhem ensues, and the countries verge on an all-out war. Duck Soup's a great movie. It's a great effing movie.
I've heard of it. Never saw it.
You never seen? Oh,
I mean, it's
so funny.
That's an old movie.
Yeah, and it's also the one like celebrity impersonation that I can just nail is Margaret Dumont. Margaret Dumont. Oh my goodness. That's where that whole like persona comes from, is Margaret Dumont.
Huh.
Oh, how could you do that? Oh my goodness. So anyway, what is the name of the country that no longer exists? I want to know. Yes, I want to know. What is this country? And it's not Fredonia, obviously. I'm trying to think. What country doesn't exist anymore? Czechoslovakia?
Is Czech still around? No, it's the Czech Republic.
It's now the Czech Republic. And then there's a couple of other ones that broke up. Yugoslavia doesn't exist. Right? It broke up into bits and pieces.
Well, if he doesn't want to say, I'd rather not force him.
Oh, why does the French lady have a British accent? She does not have a British accent. She has what they call I forget the accent is called. It's like the accent of old movies. I want to say New England accent. Not New England. It's like the something accent that's kind of known as being the accent of what they talked to, the way they talked in American movies. I can't remember what it's called. It's got a specific accent.
American.
Guessing Yugoslavia, but I'm not sure. Both they're both dead. Latveria. I'm guessing Yugoslavia, but I'm not sure. They're both dead. Oh, I thought you meant the two countries. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, probably Yugoslavia. There's a lot of countries that we still remember the names so much, but we forget that those countries don't exist anymore. Mm-hmm. Anyway, off of the Russian spies. So anyway, all got leaked, all bad. Yeah. Guy got
and
arrested.
He traced back to him, got caught, arrested.
Not good. And I'm a Californian. I'm not. If they call for a firing squad, I'm not going to be sad. I'm not going to protest that one. Absolutely. So
See,
I
this is
know.
why you're the spy. You got to close the loop on this thing. No loose ends. Kill the witness. Mm-hmm.
No.
I've seen The Americans. I know how you people work.
Have you, by the way, who hasn't watched The Americans? Seriously, you should watch The Americans. It's so funny now because it's so not funny. Like all of that stuff. Oh yeah. Transatlantic. Thank you very much. The transatlantic accent, which is the kind of ubiquitous accent of silver screen movies. So, next item, I guess, would be me. All right, next big, a big news. And yeah, let's hit the thing that we was the title of the episode. So, Redfall. All right, so first people were angry that there was announced that there was an always on online requirement even for the campaign, the first person campaign.
Yeah, the single player.
Single player. Yeah. So now Bethesda revealed in a status this week, and I'm going to pull it up so that you can see it came out in a tweet, which is kind of, man, can I say nothing good ever comes from a tweet lately? Like if it's from Twitter, generally speaking, it's something bad. So anyway, Bethesda, who's already taken heat from other things that have to do with Redfall, announced that, and it's taking forever for this to pull up, announced that Redfall is going to be 30 FPS for consoles. Ostensibly 60 FPS for, why are you not pulling up seriously? 60 FPS for PC, but for consoles 30 FPS, which is just alarming. Alarming that could be the case, especially for a first person shooter.
Is it most consoles default to 30 frames still?
Like, yeah, but
even
not,
if they have,
yes, but not for first person Twitch shooting where, I mean, is it playable?
no,
Absolutely.
most of them,
Is it optimal? No.
I think they still do. I think Call of Duty is the only one that moves at 60. Battlefield, it's 30.
Yeah, but that's kind of one of the problems about it. And the fact that it's 60 for other console for the PC is a problem. So yeah, Redfall is launching for Xbox consoles with what they call quality mode only. Xbox Series X is 4K at 30 FPS, Xbox Series S 1440p at 30 FPS. 60 frame performance or 60 frame per second performance mode will be added via game update at a later date, which means that it's not quite baked. And if you look, this has been viewed 1.3 million times. You can see how many likes there are. 6,000 likes.
So
That's an insanely low amount. It is not going well. And
I feel like the what's more about this is what's the fact that this is so controversial is the story, not the tweet itself. Like that we've gotten to a point where this idea that, oh, a game should run at a higher frame rate is such a big deal, because like really if it just shipped, if this tweet never came out and the game just shipped, people would be like, oh, it doesn't have a performance or quality mode like some other games do, whatever. Like people would just shrug their shoulders and get on with their lives. I don't think Deathloop, I don't know if Deathloop had a performance or quality mode. Or there are other games like Ghostwire Tokyo. I don't know if that one did. It may be worth checking out to see if they did or not. I don't know. But this feels like a non-story.
No, definitely not a non-story.
It feels like a non-story that's only a story if it means that the development of the game is like they're still kind of in the middle of it, right? That it's not going to have a performance mode that would allow you to do 60 frames per second because we're kind of coming in hot. We're hitting the landing strip going a little fast. We're still kind of in the middle of development, but the game's got to release. So,
and
cut
that's
features.
why
Cut features. But
one of the things that I hate right now is the fact that they are shipping unfinished games. They are shipping games with the promise of being complete. They're not half finished, but they're not in the optimal state. I would rather have a game that I wait for a little bit longer and have it shipped optimally. That's just me. Maybe that's me. I've heard it from other people, but it is the question. Do you want the game now in like, not quite perfect, but good enough, and then it'll get perfect later? Or do you want to have the game right now? Or do you want to wait a little bit longer and wait for that game to come out completely? That's my problem. And I think that it is getting more and more the habit of releasing games, especially for console, releasing games not quite optimal. And it used to be that we were, back in the day, Hawks and I would complain about day one updates. Now, day one updates are de rigueur. It's what everybody does. It's expected. And we would complain then that you're shipping out a broken game, which is not entirely untrue. Now it is becoming a standard that you are going to get a subpar game on a console and that you're only going to get the optimal experience on release date on a PC, which is terrible for us console. I don't want to play this stuff on a PC.
But see, what I think
I want to play it on my console that I paid a lot of freaking money for.
What I think is interesting about this is this whole talk of frame rate never really was an issue. And when it was an issue, like, it's not something that's ever going to go away because the consoles have hardware that is set. It doesn't change. And so when you prioritize stuff, when you make it for that specific hardware setup, what you can do, and this has always been the case, you can like make a simple game and have it run at high frame rate, or you can add in effects. And this is always what console manufacturers, this is always what game developers chose because it makes the game look better. You add effects, you add particles, you add higher resolution stuff, you add looks, you add graphics. And when you add more things like that to the screen, naturally, you have to sacrifice some frame rate. That's why consoles generally were like 30 frames per second, because it looked good to the eye and it allowed them to add in a whole bunch of graphics. You compare like Call of Duty to other stuff. Call of Duty games, like up until recently, I think they looked okay, but they were never like these graphical showcases. And so it strikes me as interesting that this is a point, this is like a hill that so many people are jumping to die on, because like it's not a new issue. It's kind of been the standard operating procedure for console games going back decades.
Right. And if you
and
were
also
reading of the stuff that I was scrolling, this is what I just said is exactly what everybody's saying. And then the one guy that says I'm totally fine with this, anyone saying it won't be playable at 30 FPS is lying to themselves. And they always have the option of waiting until the 60 FPS mode launches. Excited to jump in day one. And the answer was,
the truth is,
don't support this, mate, and it won't happen. You are part of the problem.
No, most of the games you play on your Xbox run at 30 frames per second.
Right, but when you are talking about first-person shooters
most
that are very, very fast-paced,
console are run at 30 frames per second.
But ultimately, you are going to get a you are going to get a worse experience on a console, and you cannot answer that. You are going to get a worse experience on a console day one than you will on a PC.
But that's kind of always been the case, because that's the trade-off.
And that's the problem.
No,
that's the problem, Nick.
No, it's not, because that's the trade-off of spending $3,000 on a PC is you get 30 frames per second more. And I'm okay with that trade-off.
And
I'm
I
okay
am not.
paying
I am more
$500.
okay with them delaying the game and releasing the performance mode for an Xbox, because I'm not a second-class citizen for buying an Xbox. I'm just not.
But when you compare if you compare a super high PC to an Xbox, like today, right now,
The
you
Xbox
you
can
are,
handle 120 FPS.
but not with the level of graphics that Redfall is. If you play Tetris, sure, the Xbox would handle 120 frames per second for Tetris, right? It's a mix of graphical fidelity and frame rate. Like that's always been the case. And
Yep.
like in this case, I think the only story is because a lot of games do ship with like performance mode and quality mode, like 60 frames per second mode or higher resolution mode. It's a fairly common feature in a lot of games. That this one doesn't have that feature, I think is only indicative of a development that may be like rushing out the door and does not, I don't think it speaks to any larger issue about shipping in games and what comes on the disc or what doesn't. It's just a matter of this one game seems to be having some development trouble. They don't quite know how to promote it. They don't quite know how to market it. But yes, it's 60 frames per
You
second
are
is not that
very
big of a
much
deal.
in the minority, as I am literally scrolling through
Because
this.
you're scrolling through Twitter.
Hundreds of comments on this. And
Granted,
everybody
Edie,
agrees with me is that I would rather they delay this game a little bit longer so that I can have both the performance and the non-performance mode. Yeah, that's
okay.
fine. I don't
First
I
of all,
didn't
that's not true.
what?
I guarantee you, everybody on this Twitter thread saying, I would wait for a performance mode. If they actually delayed the game, they would be like, what the fuck would you delay for a performance mode?
You know, maybe
Look,
that's what they decided to do.
you are
Maybe they decided
scrolling.
to release this tweet to make everybody go, I'm okay with you waiting just to give me 60 FPS.
Look,
And they'll go, okay, we're going to delay then.
You are scrolling through Twitter. You know what that means. You are not going to find anyone going, yeah, I'm okay with this on Twitter. You're going to find the Twitter outrage machine in full effect.
Yeah, I'm literally still scrolling, and it's exactly the same thing over. And I know I did not scroll this far down when I looked at this. It's just been it's nothing but people saying delay the game so we can actually have 60 FPS on our consoles.
I think Vice says that it's a matter of optimization mostly, and that what it means is the game is probably not super optimized.
Yeah,
because it's it's probably
and
not a priority when it comes to
with the whole PC master race BS. We must hold fast to tradition of PC being radically awesomer than console. No. Stop it. Stop.
And Chatterbox, I think, probably has the strongest point that yes, the Xbox Series X and PS5 when they released with this promise of like, oh, now we can run things at 60 frames per second. But you know what? They can if you choose performance mode. Even when the PS5 released, like I remember Dark Souls and Spider-Man. Hey, you can choose performance mode where you get 60 frames per second, or you can choose graphics mode where you get slightly better graphics. And I remember like that's the trade-off.
But that's not supposed to be a trade-off in this Xbox Series X. But X specifically.
But it always will be because when you have a game like Spider-Man, you can either put more things on screen or have more frames per second.
But that is the selling point of this generation, is that you can have closer to both. And when you have a console that ostensibly can handle 120 FPS, you would think that 60 FPS would not be very hard.
But it is. Like for every game.
It shouldn't be. It's not. It's not that hard. They can do it. They absolutely can. They just haven't done it because
No,
of
no.
time. I would
Vice
rather
has
them
the
have
real
the
point.
time.
Vice is actually correct.
Yeah, it's a complete non-story, to be honest, because no remotely sane person would expect anything close to finished being released by Bethesda. Only question is, which layer of bug purgatory will it be? Not untrue.
Yes, that's the real story.
That
Look,
that is the story.
Bethesda ships buggy game.
That's what it does.
No
yes,
shit.
but give me my bugs at 60 FPS.
How many games do you actually play that run at 60 frames per second?
Thank you, bitters. Actually agree with Edie. This is an uphill battle that will never succeed. It is true. But
Well, no,
I demanded, if you're going to sell me a console that promises me something, then give it to me. Or if you're going to release it at 60 FPS on a PC, stop making me a second-class citizen. Stop giving me sloppy seconds on the games.
But you are, because someone with a 4070 has like a stronger PC than the PlayStation 5. Like, that's just the way it is. If you're going to spend $3,000 on a graphics card, you're going to have a better hardware machine than a PS5. Like, that's it. That's the fact.
What will you give to us, Goalie? Goalie's going to give us something.
60 frames per second.
All right, I'm sobering up. I need to go get another beer. Be right back.
Okay.
But I'm right and you're wrong.
No.
I'm right and you're wrong.
No, because the consoles, what they did with frame rates is, with each console generation, you kind of get at this level where the previous generation's graphics become like the default level. And so now a PlayStation 5 can have a game that looks like PlayStation 4 run at 60 frames per second or higher. But if you want a PlayStation 5 game to look like a PlayStation 5 game, then it runs a little bit slower because it can't handle all that information.
Goalie, I don't need your comments. Great show as usual.
Great show has used you all.
Just liquored enough to be a little bit belligerent. Be right back.
Okay.
I want to be completely belligerent.
Okay. I'll just talk about Mario.
Okay, you do that.
Moving on from frame rates, speaking of frame rates, you want low frame rates? Go see a movie. Those things run at 24 frames per second. But if you want to watch Mario in 24 frames per second, apparently a lot of people do, because it has now passed $500 million at the box office, which makes it the highest grossing video game movie ever. And I think the previous one was Warcraft, which, for as much as it bombed here, it did a lot in China and passed like 400 million. I think it was like just over $400 million. But Mario has now beat the orcs. Oh no. Vice says the joke is on you. I'm a grumpy old man that hates modern movies. Well, then I guess you just have to wait for Mario to come out on discs so that you can somehow run it at 60 frames per second. Ezio says the Warcraft movie sucked because it didn't have Leroy Jenkins in it. I never actually saw the Warcraft movie. It looked a little overly serious. Like, it was deadly serious for such a goofy premise and with such cartoonish orcs. But yeah, part of me still wants to go see the Mario movie. Like, I've heard that it's good. It hasn't, like, there's a reason that it is as popular as it is, right? It's just like a fun, colorful movie that's kind of a simple adventure. Vice says, why would I won't like it? That's fair. Yes, it will vuck. It will vuck hard. But yeah, other than that, I feel like most of the recent video game movies I haven't seen. Like, I saw the Last of Us TV series, but I never saw Detective Pikachu, even though I kind of wanted to. I never saw the Rampage movie with The Rock. Never saw the Tomb Raider movie Or did I? I think I might have. I did see the old school Super Mario movie though. That one's a classic. That is a movie that everyone should see. Oh, Monster Hunter. That was the other movie I never went and saw, but I wanted to. That looked like a good dumb time. But yes, everyone should go watch the original Mario Brothers movie. That is
The
a
one
high.
with Bob Hoskins?
Yes, that's high
And
cinema
John
right there.
Leguizamo. Don't ask me why I know this.
That is the pinnacle of the art of moving pictures.
God. I really wish we could have viewing parties so we could play really bad movies like that.
Mm-hmm.
We are not being sponsored, so.
Anyways, well, speaking of games getting delayed, right? Hey, look, people say they want their stuff delayed. Now they had better support the Suicide Squad because the Suicide Squad was delayed into 2024.
I have absolutely no problem with that. And I think that was a wise thing. I would blame them. Well, yeah, let's get into the story first. So yeah, February 2nd, 2024 is the date. So that broke overnight from the official Twitter account, stating that Rocksteady needed more time with the game. According to Rocksteady Studios, they said, "We have made the tough but necessary decision to take the time needed to getting the game to be the best quality experience for players. Thank you to our amazing community for the continued support, patience, and understanding. There is much more to share in the months ahead, and we look forward to seeing you in Metropolis next year."
I remember when there were
no problem
initially
with that.
rumors about it being delayed. The rumors were like, "Oh, it's going to be delayed a month," and the speculation was that, it was a delay for actual development reasons, because that rumor started when it was on the Sony State of Play and people realized, this is like a live service game and no one likes this stuff. And when the rumors came out to be delayed, the caveat was, hey, they're not likely to take out that live service stuff because it's only delayed a month. You can't remove that stuff within a month.
Right.
When it's now delayed this far.
Right.
That makes me wonder if maybe they will take out.
That's exactly what they were doing. So according to a new rumor from Jez Corden of Windows Central, he has said that that's exactly what they're doing, is they're removing / reworking it. And I am one, and that wasn't the only thing that people had issue with. The other thing was that the game itself was not, the gameplay itself was not great, because
all the characters looked very samey.
All the characters were very samey in like they things. It just was a silly misuse. Essentially, it could have been anything, just it happened to have the Marvel skin on it. DC skin, I mean. Yeah, but it was just not a well thought out game, given that you are working with characters that a lot of people know, and they will be interested. I mean, they know those characters intimately. So anyway, the other thing that complicates matters, especially when you are talking about a game that is that requires online, and that it is a live service game, and that it would be based on servers, is that one of the characters is voiced by, it is the last voicing of Batman by Kevin Conroy. So if you're not familiar, he was essentially the voice that became.
It's called Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Does that mean you're going to kill Kevin Conroy in his last Batman role?
Yeah, I don't know. But there was an announcement last December that Conroy did voice, does make an appearance in the game, and it got a whole lot of praise, because if you're not aware, he passed away. He is the voice of Batman. When you think of the voice of Batman in animation, that's Kevin Conroy. So they made that announcement at the Games Awards, and many people were very concerned when they heard that this would be a live action game, that it means that Kevin Conroy's final performance was going to be based on its existence would be based on servers that could go down.
So
And when those servers go down, that's the last that it's over.
in
He's
10 years,
essentially
when
killing.
WB is like, we don't want to support this anymore.
Right.
You wouldn't be able to play the single player because it would require connection. And
Yeah.
we wouldn't see his
And
final
Kevin
performance.
Conroy's final performance would be dead, would be gone forever. So that it kind of pointed out one of the reasons why these online games suck so much is because that it is whatever happens there, what's ever in the game is 100% based on the whims of the publisher or the actual producer of the game.
Oh yeah.
The ones that are hosting the servers.
Games become unplayable because the servers get shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Happened a bunch.
Yep. So anyway, if the fact that this rumor is that they are looking to rework it and not make it live action server based, which almost a year delay kind of intimates that we have gone way back to the drawing board. we're gonna completely redo this, or we're gonna make some significant changes.
Which
and
boy
that intimates that probably is
it's
exactly
kind of
what's
sad
happening.
because this game has been in development forever.
Hey, listen, when it's been in development forever, they released like the gameplay and it was met with universal hate. It is a smart decision. It is releasing it in its state was confirmed that game would be dead. Going back to the drawing board and making what people want and what people expect and what people hope for is actually a good idea. That is not throwing good money after bad. It is throwing good money after potentially very good. If they can turn this around to release something in a year that people go, holy crap, that's so much better. Even if it's not the greatest, because it's so much better, people will be supportive of this game.
Hopefully.
And the bar is very low. The bar is very low with this game based on what came out. Any kind of improvement would be better than what they released. If that game, hit shelves, hit virtual shelves today.
I wonder if part of this has to do with how Gotham Knights performed, which was it was also kind of a live service multiplayer Batman family game.
Right.
But it kind of came and went without a whole lot of fanfare. Just, hey, it's out and not much.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if WB, seeing that, if they want to protect what's supposed to be a much bigger game from that same reception. And so seeing a game with all those elements kind of bomb probably did more to justify to them why they should do this delay than any of the Twitter outrage did.
True. I think that the Twitter outrage just reiterated something that they already feared. If they'd have released that and everyone's like, woohoo, it's the greatest ever, they would have released it.
Oh yeah.
Even with the concerns and misgivings, the fact that they've got like empirical evidence that these kind of games don't do as well as they think that they thought that they did, that something actually did this before and failed miserably. I shouldn't say miserably, it was failed. And then the reiteration of like, hey, this is not what fans want. They even say this is not what fans want. And now they probably, use those two things in conjunction with each other. I'm sure that people would have been able to override concerns, but they would not have made those changes uniquely because of that.
And hey, it's still probably going to come out before Skull and Bones.
It's going to come out before Beyond Good and Evil 2 as well.
I mean,
God dang it.
Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out before
Ubisoft.
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
God, Ubisoft. Fucking Ubisoft. You don't even want to know how much my Ubisoft stock is worth.
Hey, do you want to know a story about Ubisoft? I got a story about Ubisoft.
Let's hear a story about Ubisoft.
Ubisoft is finally releasing their subscription service, Ubisoft Plus, on Xbox. So now through Xbox, you can sign up for Ubisoft Plus, which would basically give you, day and date access to new release games and a kind of streaming online library of a whole bunch of, stuff from
Xbox let
Ubisoft's
that happen?
history. Yes. The thing is, unlike EA, where EA's All Access.
I should have asked what's the catch, because it's Ubisoft. Of course there's a catch. And I say this as someone who put way too much money into Ubisoft stock. God damn it.
EA's subscription service is a part of Game Pass. So if you subscribe to Game Pass, you are a member of EA's subscription service, which allows you to get a bunch of EA games through Game Pass.
Right.
Ubisoft Plus is not. It is a separate subscription service that you would have to subscribe to through Xbox, but you could then play those Ubisoft games on Xbox. Catch one is that you'll get access to a library of about 60 games.
Okay.
But on PC, Ubisoft Plus gets you access to a library of like 100 plus games. So there's a solid number of games that will not be available. Catch two is subscription to this is $18 a month, which seems a little high when you realize Game Pass is $15 a month at its maximum. So you would be subscribing to a, online not streaming, but an online game library with fewer games than Game Pass for more money than Game Pass. And all those things make it seem like a very weird rollout. Like, why would you put this subscription out on a platform when another arguably more impressive and robust streaming subscription is already there for cheaper? And it just feels like Ubisoft is very, very desperate to get some money. And this they probably know this isn't the best deal. I guarantee you there was a meeting where they were looking at graphs and someone was going, why would you charge $18 when Game Pass is $15? Why would you do this? This is dumb. Don't do this. But someone was like, no.
Bro, dude. Bro. This is total bro speak. $18, dude. That's like less than a bear for us, dude.
No, this is the meme of the people in a boardroom meeting and someone says something logical and gets thrown out the window. Someone's like, wait a minute, isn't Game Pass $15?
Oh, God. It's seriously, and again, I say this as a stockholder with a lot of way more stock than I would like to admit. I would love the board of directors to throw out Yves Guillemot tomorrow. My God, that man, he was great in the day. He has lost it. He is completely unable to run this company. He has lost connection.
Really rough couple years.
And it's because of Yves. It's because of Yves, his inability to not only run a professional company so that, his managers aren't handsy with the interns. Beyond that, he's unable to put out a game that's any good. He's unable to put out anything other than Division and more Ghost Recons. That's all he can do.
Creed? No, they're all in on Assassin's Creed.
That's true. Assassin's Creed. Yeah. But that's it. That's all they can do. They have not innovated a new game in years. And when they do, they self-sabotage.
When they do, they're always
Guillemot is 100% not only an evil freaking human being on the level of Bobby Kotick, but he's also incapable.
He's
a worse Bobby Kotick because he can't even run. Like, Bobby Kotick is a genius of business. Yves Guillemot isn't even that and does the same stuff. I am so furious that no one has called for his head.
I'll disagree. But like the thing is, they do put out new games, but like the game they put out a couple years ago, Hyperscape, which was the like heavy platforming battle royale game. It came out after Apex, after PUBG, after Fortnite, and it was just kind of chasing that trend of battle royale games that never, which meant it never had a chance to take off because by the time it released, it was already competing with the giants.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that several years ago there was kind of a rush of MOBA games, but in the end, most of them except Dota and League of Legends just kind of died because look, you can't compete with Dota and League of Legends.
No. The only way that you can compete with them is actually to do something different. And none of them want to do something different. They want to clone it. This is stupid, 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 stupid.
Yeah. So looking at Ubisoft releases for from 2020, they did they re-released a bunch of stuff on Stadia. But then they did Hyperscape, which kind of came and went. They did some VR stuff. They put out Watch Dogs Legion, which kind of came and went. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Just Dance.
They've already announced that Just Dance isn't continuing. They're going to end that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like the most profitable.
I know.
Thing.
I know.
Oh, Immortals Phoenix Rising, which again, like, kind of came and kind of went.
Meh.
Far Cry 6, Riders Republic.
Oh, sorry, Far Cries. That's right. The other thing they can release is Far Cries that are essentially not.
Oh, Rainbow Six Extraction.
And Rainbow Sixes. I'm sorry. Did I say Ghost Recon?
Roller Champions. They did Roller Champions, which again was like a super cool. Remember
that
was the arcade?
Yeah.
Like neat game. And I it was free to play. And I remember downloading it, but it was just like, unless you paid for the battle pass, it was such a bare bones release that it didn't feel quite worth it to keep going. And probably one of the best things they've done in a while is Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which I do really look forward to playing.
Yeah, and it actually was nominated for a bunch of awards, as I recall, on the
because
Game Awards.
the first Mario and Rabbids game was like a really good, really different type of turn-based tactics game.
Yeah, Riders Republic was also a really good game as well.
Yeah, I want to play Riders Republic because I actually am one of the few people who liked Ubisoft's other sports game, Steep. And Riders Republic is basically,
remember that.
Steep was a snowboarding game. And Riders Republic is basically Steep, but with bikes instead of snowboards. Which, hey, I'm down with.
I can see it. So anyway, yeah, more bad news from. Turn it around, Ubisoft, seriously.
Yeah,
my retirement fund expects this to happen.
Looking ahead, they've got more Assassin's Creed games. They've got another Crew game. They've got the Avatar game.
God, why?
They've got
Why did I invest? Why?
They've got Skull and Bones, which
actually I invested in them because of freaking Skull and Bones.
Oh no!
I know.
That game.
I know. It wasn't entirely smart. I'd had a few when I did that.
That game is not going to recoup its budget.
Not anymore. It might have if it actually released the thing that it actually showed us at the beginning. That game was awesome at the beginning, and then they made changes to it to make it worse.
No, the video they showed us of the game was awesome.
I want to say, wasn't it released for like
there's no
closed alpha or closed beta? And there was a lot of really cool stuff about it, and everybody's raving about it. And then they finished it, and then they came back and they're like, okay, open beta, and it was a totally different game.
I don't think it changed that much.
There was enough that it was. It was originally more of the thing that we wanted, which was the sailing part of Assassin's Creed. What's the Assassin's Creed that
Black
came
Flag.
out of? Black Flag. Yeah, thank you. It was more of the sailing stuff of the Assassin's Creed Black Flag, just in more detail. And then it became less that and more, I don't know, just not that.
I mean, that tracks with what we've heard about the behind the scenes stuff, in that at a certain point they asked, wait, what is this game? I remember one line from one story about its development was that at a certain point, years into development, they had to ask, okay, are the players playing as the boat, or are they playing as the captain of the boat? Meaning, are you like a person piloting the boat, or do you just play as the boat and then upgrade that boat and then like get a new boat? Basically, are you going to play as a human character, or are you just going to sail the boat around? And like that's a pretty fundamental aspect of design that years into the game they kind of had to stop and go, which one are we?
Yeah. And when I played Black Flag, I played as the person.
Yes.
Not as the boat.
That was the cool thing.
It's a very good way of putting it, because when I played the open beta, I played as the boat. And that's not really how I felt about that. It felt,
I don't think we're technically allowed to say anything that happened in the beta that we played.
I can say I felt meh. I think it's long enough go past that no one's going to shut me down. It was meh.
Look, no one's going to care anyways.
Nobody's going to care.
No one cares.
It's going to be
about
a completely different game when it comes out, I think.
No one cares. No one cares about Skull and Bones. No one cares about Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I care about Skull and Bones.
No one cares about.
And you were the one that was most excited about Skull and Bones when they announced it too.
I was way back when.
Yeah,
I was super excited.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like you that were like, "I'm super excited," and now it's not so excited anymore.
No. I look
how I feel about what's going on with Dragon Age. It's like I was super excited, and now maybe not.
Look,
so much
I signed an NDA, so I cannot talk about my experience playing the game in that one situation. But when they announced it 10 years ago, I was super thrilled.
10 years.
I don't know if it was actually 10 years ago. I just pulled that number out of my butt, but it feels right.
Okay, let me find that out. Go ahead. You keep looking. You keep talking. I'm going to figure
out. The point is I'm not excited to play that game anymore. And what's funny is that Ubisoft has 3 games in its lineup that have been delayed and suffered like horrible delays like this.
E3 2017. So it's not quite 10 years.
Okay.
Not even close, actually.
Yeah, they got Skull and Bones, they got Beyond Good and Evil, and they got those Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake. Like they have serious development issues that they have 3 big games in their pipeline that have all suffered like indefinite delays.
Yeah. As I said, again, Yves Guillemot is a worse Bobby Kotick.
But the thing is, no, he's
not good at what he does. He's not even good at being a CEO, much less being like a human being that cares about his employees.
Because
I mean, he's a dirtbag as far as that's concerned.
15 years ago, Ubisoft was in a really, really good place. They were putting out really good games regularly.
Yes, 15 years ago.
And
I was excited for Ubisoft 15 years ago the way that you were excited for Skull and Bones in 2017.
And he was still in charge then.
Right.
I don't know
just because he was good then doesn't mean that he's good now. He's bad now. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. He has been bad for a very long time. After being very, very good for a really long time, he's now bad and he needs to go. That's why you get rid of the CEO.
Spoken like a true stockholder.
Bad. Absolutely. Beyond the point that he is a absolute dumpster fire as far as like worker rights and all of the soft stuff, like the rights of his employees, of whether he's a good employer. Simply from the evil capitalist point of view, he is a dumpster fire and has been for at least 2017 onwards.
Okay, Vice says Beyond Good and Evil or Star Citizen. Which would release first? And you know what? That's not a fair comparison because at least Star Citizen has modules you can play.
Yeah, I'm going to say Star Citizen.
Has ships you can buy and at least walk around.
Yes. Yes, I think it's going to be Star Citizen.
Exists in some form or another. Beyond Good and Evil is still just like an idea on a whiteboard.
Beyond Good and Evil is not going to be made ever under the management that Ubisoft has right now. You would have to literally get rid of all the management, because I was hoping that getting rid of like those horrible people that were essentially stopping anything other than bro games, the games that they liked coming out, would actually have changed and moved Ubisoft forward. It hasn't, clearly. Ever since they fought off the Vivendi takeover, that's when they started to suck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened after that, but it seems like they forgot how to make games.
They got complacent.
Other than reiterating games that they've made before.
When they didn't have that fire under their feet, they just stopped trying.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what it feels like. They've coasted. And then, of course, they say like, oh yeah, we'll come out with like Skull and Bones. Yeah, you like this? Yeah, well, to get people like excited about it, but then they don't deliver.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like that was Skull and Bones was just like, hey, let's give a big game to a bunch of novice developers, and hey, guess what? Those things don't mix.
Yeah, but they have to put out Skull and Bones.
I know. That's the problem.
That's the ultimate thing, is they have to put out Skull and Bones because of the whole Singapore thing.
Yeah. Look, they should just cancel Beyond Good and Evil 2, because at this point, nothing you do is going to be worth it.
They should just sell Beyond Good and Evil to some other company that's willing to.
No, they should just cancel it, because that game was like a fine game when it came out, but it wasn't like this giant cultural impact. It was a cult classic.
Yeah, true.
A cult classic.
Here's right.
Sequel will never like hit the level that it needs to.
But here's the problem. It would be one thing if they announced it, but they released like trailers. They actually put time into making these trailers, and it feels almost as if like they're doing this to just be dicks.
They made a deal with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. They brought him out on stage.
Yeah. And that, honestly, that whatever I was like, the hopes that were cooling on Beyond Good and Evil 2 coming out were absolutely reignited by that amazing. I really loved that trailer. But that almost makes it worse, that they actually put the time into releasing that trailer, knowing full well they aren't going to put it out.
I don't know. I feel like at that
it's kind of like taking you to like the Lobster, the Surf and Turf, the champagne, the roses, the whole 9 yards, only to break up with you.
See,
it's like, just break up with me. Don't wine and dine me and then break up with me. Just break up with me and leave.
If someone's breaking up with you, you want them to take you to a McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't even want them to take me out. Just come to the door. Tell me you're breaking up with me. Good, great. I don't have to like get showered, put my makeup on, and then get myself all worked up and thinking it's going to be a proposal. No, and it turns out to be I'm breaking up with you. No, just tell me I'm broken up with, so I can get on with my life.
Say you're breaking up. Maybe drop off some takeout while you're there.
Yeah. Drop off a pizza. Drop off an apology pizza. That's fine. Just do that. That's good. Apology pizzas work. No matter what a woman says, apology pizzas work, especially if you back it up with a pint of Haagen-Dazs.
Wait, did you say taco knots?
Haagen-Dazs.
Oh, Haagen-Dazs. Okay, I was like, what the hell is
Ben
a
and
taco
Jerry's
knot? No, I fully expect that when Ubisoft put out that trailer, they expected to make that
Good and Evil air hockey game. I would, I would too.
Anyways. Shall we talk about a game that's actually coming out or that's actually out?
Oh, do you want to do it? No. You've already had one. I want to go now. Can I go now?
Okay.
Please,
okay.
Okay. All right. So in breaking news, North Dakota is seriously important to game development, and Sony needs to be aware of this. U.S. senator,
North
a U.S.
Dakota?
senator from North Dakota has demanded from Sony that they provide documentation as to why, for God's sakes, why are they keeping anti-competitive laws to keep Xbox out of Japan? So, according
Who
to
did
this
Microsoft bribe to do this?
Yeah, exactly. North Dakota Republican, a guy named Kevin Kramer, he sent a letter to Sony CEO Kenichiro Yoshida, quote unquote, regarding its anti-competitive behavior and to request information on the company's acquisition agreements. According to Senator Kramer, I am concerned. Should I do this in senator voice? I should do this in senator voice. I am concerned.
No, do it in the transatlantic voice.
Oh, I am concerned. Sony's dominance of that market and its efforts to perpetuate its current position imperils, I say imperils, an important economic development opportunity for North Dakota. He also says North Dakota has, quote, developed a strategy to lead the nation in computer science and cybersecurity education. News to me. And preparing students for careers in gaming is an important component of this effort. Also, news to me. Given the growing... The sentence I never thought I would say, starting now. Given the growing significance of the gaming industry to North Dakota, I am troubled, I say, troubled by reports Sony appears to leverage its dominance to exclude competition rather than enabling choice for players and developers. Increasingly, it appears Sony's dominance is attributable, I say, to exclusionary practices, including paying game publishers not to distribute on their games on rival platforms. He has asked for Sony to provide him all agreements that give Sony an exclusive right to distribute third-party games, all agreements between Sony and third-party publishers that prevent them from releasing their games on other systems, all internal company documents, quote, describing the strategic rationale for Sony's decision to acquire Bungie, and all correspondence with U.S. government or regulatory agencies relating to video game competition. That is a very tall order for a senator from North Dakota to demand of a CEO of a Japanese company.
Okay, so I did a little bit of Googling. Yeah. And I wonder if he may be misinterpreting what gaming means, because apparently gambling is a $2 billion cutthroat industry with very little oversight in North Dakota.
No, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, crap. North Dakota is the New South Wales of the United States.
Oh, yeah. North Dakota is apparently where you want to go to open a casino.
Oh, God. And launder money. Oh, that's because that's what casinos are really good for, is laundering money. Just FYI, if you're going to start up, an illegal drug trade, go to North Dakota to launder your money. So I've heard.
I wonder if he's like, oh, Sony is having anti-competitive gaming? Look, we have a $1 billion gaming industry. We want to get some of that action.
I read that and I'm like, good Lord, dude, are you serious? Did you just do that? But yes, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Microsoft, I don't know if Microsoft cares that it's obvious that it's paying senators to be their mouthpieces. I don't know what's worse, him actually demanding that of Sony, or Microsoft clearly having maybe not bribed, but certainly made a proposition that he couldn't refuse to a North Dakota senator to actually say something that stupid. Just absolutely ludicrous. And creepy as F, because you know that Senator Kevin Kramer did not care about Japanese games in Japan or Sony games in Japan.
No.
On his own. He did not come up with this on his own. And not only that, does even Xbox have any business in North Dakota? Sorry, that's the beer. Does Xbox even have any offices or business within North Dakota? Because that seems odd on so many levels.
Well, apparently, according to Facebook, there's an Xbox One for sale in Fargo, North Dakota.
That's as close as we're going to get to an Xbox office in North Dakota.
Yes.
Chunderbox says, I missed my calling. What was that calling? Was that calling reading stuff in the Margaret Dumont accent? Seriously, go watch Duck Soup. It's dead on. It's dead on for Margaret Dumont.
Okay, I guess they do have one office in Fargo, North Dakota.
Really?
They have a corporate sales office.
The loneliest employees of Microsoft. This is where they put the people right before they retire. It's like, good news, bad news. Good news is you're getting a promotion. Bad news is you're going to run the sales office in North Dakota, in Fargo.
Oh, can I get a street view?
Oh, I want a street view. Yes, provide that. That would be awesome. Do you have an address?
Yes. Here, can I share?
Yeah, share. Go. I want it. Give it to me. Give it to me. I want to know. I want to see. Thank you very much. Finally, the link for Duck Soup.
I think that's the building.
Could you get any more Fargo than that? Seriously. Could you? It looks like a rendering.
Oh, I can't go down that road.
What a shame. Wow. Yeah. Welcome to Microsoft. How can I help you?
Tiny snowy road.
Even Google Maps guy's like, nope.
It's like, we're not going down there. Nobody cares what's down that road.
Wow. Not even a sign. Notice that? Not even a sign that says Microsoft on it.
Wait. Is that a sign up there? No, never mind. That was a truck.
That is just, more frozen tundra.
Oh, wait. What is?
Can you?
Okay. No, that's Dakota Carrier. Because I know the Microsoft Vista building is like around here.
All right.
You can see it. You can see it down here. That's where we are.
Oh, so it's in the back.
Yeah.
It's in the back where they do where they drop the transmissions and, do the brakes.
Yeah. So like it's behind.
Right next to the smog test center is Microsoft Fargo, North Dakota.
Yes.
Oh my God. Well, I'm sure Kevin Kramer is very concerned about how Japanese games in Japan are a problem for all of the millions of developers of given the growing significance of the gaming industry to North Dakota.
I tell you, I think he's thinking gambling. He's thinking slot machines.
He has to be thinking slot machines. You know what? No. He's not. He really either he's lying or he's insane. So anyway, that one made me laugh. So, by the way, Kramer's not the only one to have sent a letter to Sony with demanding why the Japanese games are only in Japan, like why Japanese games are successful in Japan. The two letters have been sent. 2 other letters have been sent. One from 4 Republican members of Congress and the other from 6 Democrats that accused Sony of deliberately making exclusivity deals with third-party publishers to ensure Xbox doesn't gain a foothold in Japan.
I'm free. He got up.
You want to go spike your coffee now?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
I just had to mention that.
Okay. So yeah, that's that happened and made me laugh. That's, I just woke up and chose violence on that one.
Well, we could segue that into talking about a game that Sony has so illegally bought for itself only. Sony recently had a state of play where they showed off the PlayStation exclusive
Offended, so offended. It should be made by Xbox.
And the game looks cool. I think what surprised me the most about seeing it, and they had mentioned before that, hey, we want this to be a more action-oriented game, is that it looks like an action-oriented game. Even compared to previous action-oriented Final Fantasies, I think I had been under the impression that the game would control the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is a combination of turn-based and real-time action, where you can play it like a straight-up action game, or you can pause it and give commands to people that way. No, it is just a straight-up action game. But what I think is a cool in-between that they found is that they have these things called, I forget what they're called, little trinkets that you can equip to your character that will basically help make that action easier for you by kind of taking some control away. And it reminds me of Nier Automata, which had the ability, you could equip certain things to your character in Nier Automata that would basically play the combat for you so that you could just enjoy it as an RPG. With Final Fantasy, there was some trinkets they showed off in the gameplay demo where they would automatically dodge for you. So let's say some enemy is coming at you and does a projectile attack, the game would just automatically dodge for you so that you don't have to do that. Or if you still want to be a little bit more, add a little bit more gameplay in there, it would give you a little quick time prompt to dodge. So that whenever someone came at you, the game would kind of pause for half a second, give you the chance to hit a button to dodge to do it, instead of, having to watch the enemy's animation and know when to dodge. The game would basically pause and say, hey, you should dodge right now.
Right.
And they have more things like that. Those are the only 2 that they showed off in the demo. But I thought that was a really good idea to just, for someone like me who likes the old turn-based games, even though they haven't been turn-based for a long, long time, I think having something like this to make the action a little simpler is a good thing. Because some of the problems that the game could get into that I think reverse, back up a little bit. Chaos, Andrew, former co-host, had said that the combat design was from the designer of Devil May Cry 5. And hey, that's cool. But the problem with Devil May Cry is that it's one of those combo heavy games, right? And I've never really liked that, because when I'm in the middle of a fight, I'm not thinking square, triangle. Or in the same way, with the fighting game. It's I have to remember these button combinations. This is not that. It does not, based on what they showed off about the combat, it doesn't have combos. Instead, you kind of equip abilities onto your character, and each of the face buttons corresponds to an ability. So
right. That's how most World of Warcraft is the same way, where it's actually how you combine your different abilities to be able to do the max damage.
And yeah, I like that method of combat more, and to combine that with these little trinkets that kind of make dodging a little easier, I think I think it looks like the game is kind of in a good place to be action oriented, but like not in a way that kind of detracts from the RPG-ness of it.
Right.
Which is one thing I noticed playing Horizon. Dude, that game is RPG as hell. I didn't
Really?
mention that, but that's how it reminds me of Final Fantasy in that there were so many skill trees to upgrade. You're gaining experience, you're leveling up, you're getting armor, you're like equipping abilities to that armor. Like it feels like a hardcore RPG with the level of like equipment customization that you do in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And so beyond that, they also showed off kind of the selling point of Final Fantasy 16. They showed off like the big summon fights, basically the big kaiju fights,
Mm-hmm.
which I think looks really cool. I kind of closed my eyes when that part came on because I didn't want to get spoiled by all the kaiju fights. I want to be surprised by them. But other than that, it's kind of looking like a hardcore Final Fantasy RPG, just with a lot more action elements.
This is, I mean, I've never been a really big Final Fantasy fan. I am, the more that I'm seeing of this game, the more that I am really excited to be playing it. Even if I don't know all of the backstory of Final Fantasy.
I mean, you
There's
don't
some of
need
it,
to.
but not. Yeah,
Like, this
that's the thing. You don't need to.
Yeah,
and
it's a standalone world.
Right. It's just exactly. And the fact that it does look hella fun. It just, with so many other games that have come out recently.
Oh, yeah, and in the
In
video,
this same
you're seeing
genre.
the QuickTime event.
Okay. But in this same kind of genre of the God, what was the one that failed? Like they shut down the servers right after. I want to say it was Konami, or was it was it Konami, or was it Square Enix that they released a game that had like one person playing it?
Oh, yes.
Wasn't Near, it wasn't
Godfall.
It was supposed to be Gods and Monsters, and they had to change the name because the Monster Energy drink.
I think it was like a Tecmo game.
It wasn't
Koei Tecmo.
It wasn't Koei Tecmo.
No,
you know what I'm talking about?
It was like a tower
was it
game.
Babylon's Fall?
Yes,
no,
Babylon's Fall. Yes,
no,
that was it.
Was it Babylon's Fall, the one that came
Yes.
out that was like it kind of sort of wanted to be a Final Fantasy, and then it came out and everybody looked at it and went meh, and like they actually interviewed the one guy who was playing it.
All I remember is Babylon's Fall is the game that had one person playing on Steam, and they actually interviewed who is this one person?
Right. DOA. Yep, that's the one. Yeah. Yeah. So this as opposed to like you've seen a number of these games come out that kind of have that same feel of a Final Fantasy, kind of a Final Fantasy wannabe. And to see what a true good Final Fantasy action game looks like, all of a sudden you see the difference between this and previews of other games.
So like look at this, look at these close-ups of these characters. Look at these characters, look at them talk.
Yeah, that's so good.
Look at them talk. It looks good. But like
Final Fantasy always looked good in the cutscenes.
But like no. I just came from Horizon Zero Dawn. These guys look like shit. These guys look like an old school PS2 game.
Yeah, but they look like Final Fantasy characters. That's the thing, is that Final Fantasy characters have a specific look.
They look like the kind of anime-esque. And I'm kind of here for the graphics, the character graphics, the character design.
All the women look almost exactly the same.
They look,
except for the hair color.
They just don't have the facial detail of any of the characters from Horizon.
Smooth
but I'm
faces.
kind of okay with that because that makes it look like a old school JRPG. It's kind of anime-esque.
Well, it's a signature of Final Fantasy. If they change the faces to not look like Final Fantasy, people would have a problem with that. I mean, that is what they look like. That is a Final Fantasy character.
I do think it's partially like that anime influence where,
right, it is. Absolutely.
They don't want to get
the art style.
Yeah, it's part of the art style. They are not interested in showing us the pores of the characters' skins.
Yeah.
Like
They all have to be impossibly gorgeous with that specific kind of hair.
mhm.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, that's the art style of Final Fantasy, and if it didn't have that, then people if it was like you could actually see pores on these people, there would be riots in the street. It would pitchforks
So
and
it was
and
funny. Like, oh my god, look at that lip
torches.
syncing. That lip syncing is like, hey, this is pretty good. But fuck, man, I just came from Horizon Zero Dawn, and like, it looks like it's from a different generation.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is that you like that guy right there, like this. Let me back that up right here. This guy right there. Where is it? Come on, show that that guy. All of his. You just
On
have
the
to
right.
look at the face. The guy on the left. This guy, maybe not.
Oh.
That right there. That is a Final Fantasy guy. There's no other game that face could be in.
I don't know. That looks like I could totally see him in any number of modern military shooters.
Kind of like graphics porn.
Give
Final Fantasy X. Yeah, it's true. It was. Final Fantasy 10 at the time was graphics porn.
Yeah,
now,
at the time it was really impressive.
right.
Yeah,
And
now
but now it's just upgraded, but it's the same faces. It's got if you didn't have that, it wouldn't be Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy hasn't been like a graphics contender since 10. But they've always had good art style. Like they've made up for it with really fascinating art style.
Mm-hmm.
13 had some really good art. I don't know if the graphics were good and people, gameplay aside and story aside, it had some really nice art direction.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's
hey, Final Fantasy 16 coming out, looks neat.
Looks neat.
Sony exclusive.
Yep, I'm all about it.
Anger senators. Mr. Republican senator from North Dakota does not like Final Fantasy.
Trent Reznor wishes he looked that good. Not gonna lie, we all wish we looked that good. In my dreams, I look like a Final Fantasy character. Why not?
I actually think if you're able to look up that clip again, the guy on the right, I think, is more indicative of Final Fantasy characters.
Really?
The perfect haircut with the V-neck shirt going down to halfway through his chest is like, oh yeah, that's the kind of pause it. That guy on the right, that's the kind of impractical bullshit high fashion fantasy that I come to Final Fantasy.
Impractical? You are not even close to impractical. We haven't gotten to the female characters in Final Fantasy.
Oh no. You mean like Lulu from Final Fantasy X with a dress made of belts?
Yeah.
No, see, that's the kind of fashion I come to Final Fantasy for. I want to see people with a V-neck shirt down to their.
Do we have any girls in this one? There we go. There we are.
Yeah,
we have two archetypes, the innocent underage and then like the bosomy experienced woman who will clean off. Needs more chains. Yeah. It's a bit like, this is the dead or alive of, action RPGs. It's gotta look. You expect certain things from the boys and the girls, and they gotta look a certain way.
So
they're
I think
not gonna look any different than this.
So when they first announced Final Fantasy 16, I think my biggest takeaway from this whole showcase is that when they first announced it, and they were like, "Oh, we're kind of taking inspiration from Game of Thrones to be a more like grounded, a more serious political drama." I liked the sound of that. I like the idea of Final Fantasy going dark fantasy.
Agreed.
It hasn't done that for a while.
Right.
What I got out of this is that, the story may be dark fantasy, but there's still some of that element of Final Fantasy goofiness. You're going to have like these giant kaiju summons fighting each other. You're going to have characters that they all look so impossibly model-esque beautiful. And it's still going to have that kind of layer of Final Fantasy goofiness, even within this serious story, which I think is a good balance to take. I'm okay with that. I'm glad that they haven't gone full serious. Oh yeah, you're looking up Lulu?
Yeah, because it just case you forgot what Lulu looked, who Lulu was and what Lulu did, she's a Morrigan of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, she was a wizard. She didn't have to like jump and swing a sword and all that.
Nope.
She just cast spells, and so she could wear like a shoulderless dress made of chain.
Made of things that were just barely hanging on, that defied gravity. Come on, show us Lulu.
Oh, there you had it for a second.
Come on,
Lulu's
Lulu.
the one in black.
Yeah. Come on, show her, get close. Come on.
Can you skip ahead like 10 seconds?
No, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's her from the back. Oh, and then they all walk away.
Sorry. Oh, God.
You pick the one.
Everything but her.
The one. Oh, there.
Come on. Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Yeah.
You need anything more?
Fur.
Right.
Dress.
Exactly. Right.
You can't, like, if you could see
there's
the
not
dress,
enough dress glue in the world. Oh my God, the graphics on this is so bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, see, this isn't bad. This is PS2.
I know it's PS2, but
this is just of the era.
The feel like things are floating is hilarious.
See, you know what? Watching this, it's really making me nostalgic.
I know.
Watching this, I'm like, oh man, I want more games to look like this.
This is the one Final Fantasy I actually played all the way to the end.
Really?
Yeah. God,
and I thought it was belts. Look at those belts. She's got like a short skirt, and then the rest of the dress is just belts.
So many teenage fantasies. So much Kleenex destroyed.
I don't know. I'm not that into belts.
No, but I'm just saying, in general, across nations, a lot of Kleenex. Yeah, I mean, seriously, Kleenex should have sponsored Final Fantasy. Should have put Lulu on the outside of the boxes.
Anyways.
Kleenex was sponsored by Kleenex and Jergens.
Anyways, Final Fantasy 16, looking good.
To be fair, she seems ready to hold up any pair of pants in case she should ever wear any. True.
Was she in? No, I don't think she was in Final Fantasy X-2. Lulu. I
don't know because
if
I only played 10 and
it was
that
just
was
a small cameo.
Yeah,
that was a game. That was dress up RPG.
We had better stuff in the PS2 days. Frel, we had better in the PS1 days. The original Dead or Alive has some of the most porny costumes. Agreed.
If you're specifically looking for porny costumes, then yes.
Yeah. It's
Final
amazing
had the
what we could get away with in the PS1 and PS2 days. We would never be able to get away with now.
Oh, yeah.
Never in the million years. And we think that we've, things have gotten, more edgy, and in ways it has, but in other ways it hasn't.
I mean, that's just, hey, back then gaming was like,
it was
exclusively seen as the purview of teenage boys.
Teenage boys.
Marketed that way.
Right. I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm just saying this is a thing.
I was actually thinking that playing Horizon, because, when you're playing it, you get different costumes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, each costume, each set of armor has its own abilities. And I was like, looking, okay, this one gives me this one gives me this. And just had this like random thought of like, if this was 10 years ago, one of these would be like a bikini costume.
It would. Yeah. It says how it was
like looking at the character.
Female gamers are not an unusual thing. Like,
it was like I was looking at Aloy and just thinking like, man, she's realistically dressed.
I know. Crazy. Wild.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my next item is, let's see. We are talking about Suicide Squad. Oh, hey, this one is for AC Wraiths. Every once in a while we throw something in just for AC Wraith, our link bitch, because he works so hard. There is a Warframe update. Still not going to play it, but it's a update coming. The Duviri Paradox. It's launching on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch on April 26th. So this update's going to open up a whole massive open world, which honestly, still not going to play it. But if I were, this actually sounds interesting. So it's going to add a new roguelike style quest. It's split between two paths. This actually might make Nick want to play it. Split between two paths. One where you play as the original character. Oh, Nick is close, sneezing. What are we on? 3 now? 4?
I only got the 4 because I scared Shepard and he got up. Okay, continue.
So, roguelike quest. I'm assuming it's a quest line. The Duviri Paradox is split between two paths. One where you play as the original character, or one that sees you playing as the drifter, as they both experience different routes through the content. So you essentially play one of two characters within that. So you see it from both points of view. You'll be able to play as both regardless of your initial choice. So it's a bit like going through the whole process and then seeing it from the other point of view. So yeah, I really like that idea. And this is I've always been a fan of any kind of media that has a story that is really compelling and interesting, and then you see it from the other point of view. I remember reading what was the freaking Anne Rice Interview with a Vampire, which I loved. And then the sequel was Vampire Lestat, where you saw everything, the same story, but from Lestat's point of view, like the bigger picture of like who Lestat was before, then the actual part of the story from his point of view, then afterwards. And I thought, as soon as I read the first couple of pages, I'm like, oh, you clever girl. And I love the fact that I could see this character that had been kind of evil and mercurial in the first book, to see who he was and why he was, and how he wasn't, his motivations based on who he was, his backstory, and what had happened previous and what was about to happen. Things that you didn't know. Like every story has two sides at least. And seeing it for both sides is kind of interesting to me. So when I heard that you were going to be playing this quest line as two different people and seeing it yourself, playing this from two different points of view, that intrigued me considerably. Still not going to play it.
You should check out Last of Us 2 then.
I know.
You might be interested in that. I mean, at this
I
point,
know I do.
It's probably relatively cheap.
Yeah, probably is. I still got to watch Last of Us 1 HBO series because my coworker's still pestering me about that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So anyway, it comes out April 26th, and yeah. So something to look forward to. You will now no longer hear from AC Wraith for at least a couple of weeks. The Drifter was introduced from an earlier quest. It's a more adult version of your character from an alternate universe. Interesting. Warframe, I gotta give them credit. They keep finding new ways to mine that universe in really interesting ways, as opposed to just, add on stuff. Actually finding new ways to work within that universe and telling stories in a different way. I'm very impressed with them.
I feel like
Bitterstate's gonna play it.
I feel like we'll never play Warframe again, but the next time we'll jump on is when Soulframe comes out. That's the fantasy game from the Warframe devs. I have no idea when it's coming out. They had a trailer for it some years ago.
Yeah. AC Ray says games from Asian countries still offer those sorts of costumes as DLC. That, we should get Kevin Kramer onto that. That's a thing that he really needs to address is costumes in DLC in Asia. How it is inappropriate. Inappropriate, I say. So yeah. All right. So your next item.
Okay. So there was a fun heist in EVE Online, which game designed for these type of brazen Ocean's 11 style heists, except this heist came from people following all the rules. So, in EVE Online, there are corporations, and each of these corporations are like big kind of player-run groups. So they basically looked for a corporation with a CEO and a board that was minimally active. And when they did that, they bought some stock in that corporation and then triggered a vote. And I guess there's a 72-hour waiting period in between trying to trigger a vote for a new CEO, between if it's actually accepted. And that 72-hour waiting period was put in by the developers to prevent this kind of hostile takeover from happening.
Mm-hmm.
But because the CEO and the board members of this corporation were minimally active, they didn't say no. So these people who bought a couple stocks, triggered a vote for CEO, voted themselves as CEO, and then proceeded to just take everything that this corporation had, which was a possession of some in-game items valued at over $20,000.
$20,000 of real money?
Yeah, in-game items with a real-world value of $20,000.
Oh my God.
They looted 130 billion of the game's ISK in-game currency.
Oh my God.
Took assets worth another 2 trillion ISK. And yeah, I guess according to one of the people who posted this story on Reddit, the actual in real world cost for all the stuff they took is $22,309.
Oh my God.
And then they pulled it off by just following the rules. By, hey, we're going to buy some stock. We're going to vote ourselves as CEO. You could have said no, but they didn't.
Oh, if only I could do that with Ubisoft. Seriously, if only I could do that with Ubisoft.
I don't think Yves is not minimally active.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah, that's the problem. Although I am on an investor call for Tesla next week. Who knows? Who knows?
That's another CEO who's not minimally active.
Well, he's minimally active in Tesla.
True. Thank God for Twitter. Right? Thank God for Twitter. The best thing that happened to Tesla is Twitter.
Elon Musk bought Twitter. Yeah, not gonna lie. Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Hey, go. You see? Go play with that over there.
Sorry. Look. Meat. Go. Go chase the ball. All right. So my next item is, sir. Let's see. We've already talked about Redfall. Oh, my last item. Is this my last item? Yes, we already talked about Bethesda. We talked about North Dakota. We talked about Suicide Squad. We talked about Warframe. All right. My last item is Microsoft has revealed very early, but has revealed one of the games that will be coming to Game Pass in May. So, yeah, and this is fairly early because we're only not barely even halfway through April. But next month, it was announced by developer and publisher Coco Cucumber that the action, what?
Bitters Plus says, just change your name to Edie Gimo and walk in and take over.
I'm Edie Gimo. I'm Edie Gimo. Yeah, they I think that they would notice a difference.
I know, just act the part. Just act confident and they'll believe you.
It's the boobs. They notice. So, the April 2023 is barely half over, but we already know about Coco Cucumber, who announced that Ravenlock, which is an action RPG, is coming to Xbox Game Pass on May 4th. It seems like an interesting game. It's the third game from Coco Cucumber. And it features a voxel-based art style, which is similar to Ravenmon and Echo Generation. It's going to be coming to both the console and the PC tiers of the Xbox Game Pass. And I saw it, and it looks really, really, really interesting. Let me pull it up for you. But the fact that it's Game Pass just makes it that much like super interesting for me because it's free. By the way, is anybody here not on Game Pass at this point? Because it's just why not?
I'm still, until the end of this year, I'm still on that deal of, hey, if you convert your Xbox Gold to Game Pass, you can.
Wow,
really,
you're
really cheap.
still on that? Yeah,
because
you did.
I bought a bunch of
Gosh,
Gold subscriptions for super cheap. But I think this October or November that will run out, and when that happens, I will probably switch to the cheaper console only Game Pass, or I just won't do it at all, and maybe I'll resubscribe whenever I turn on the Xbox.
Huh, interesting. I'm trying to find one that isn't low res. I'm sorry that was just almost one unwatchable because it was so low res. Stand by. Trying to get there.
I mean, you're forgetting the biggest game to come out in May on Game Pass. Redfall.
Yeah, that's not going to be good.
I'm looking at this list that says one of them is an Amnesia game.
Really?
Which I'm excited about. Yeah, Amnesia the Bunker.
Why are we having such a hard time connecting to YouTube all of a sudden? Sorry if I'm delayed, but I'm trying to pull up Ravenlock so you can actually see it. But it's struggling. What's going on?
Just an internet issue?
Maybe. Trying to see what else could be on or up or running. Microsoft auto update. Fuck you guys. Sorry, Microsoft. I hate you. I mean, I know.
I'm also watching that same trailer, and it's also kind of default to 1080. Okay, there we go.
Here, no. Wow.
Can you just like play the YouTube video and change the settings?
I'm trying to change the settings and it's hitching really bad, which tells me that there's some kind of issue. There we go. All right.
Chundabox said that Ubisoft is releasing a free-to-play shooter called X Defiant in open beta recently. Oh no, I think they did. Yes, I did. I heard about that. X Defiant is going on open beta. I don't know anything about it other than Ubisoft made it and its name. I don't know kind of what makes it unique.
I have heard that, and granted, it was one story, one article from a reviewer that said that X Defiant could be very much a competitor to, of all things, Call of Duty. They said that it's all the best things about Call of Duty without all the suck. And I wish I could remember where I saw that. Let's see. X Defiant better than Song.
Oh, is it on Forbes?
Yes, it was a Forbes article. That's where it was.
Oh, Paul Tassi.
Yes.
Paul Tassi on Forbes is a pretty Paul Tassi on Forbes is the guy to go to for your live service game articles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that dude has a life outside of playing all of the live service games that he does.
Oh God, stupid freaking ad blocker crap. All right, there we go. Stand by. Gotta deal with stupid. Don't want your damn ads. All right. Cool. All right. Let's see. Where is what he said? Here is the article.
Okay, so yeah, he has a list of what do people like about it. Red dots on the map. That means like, hey, you can see your opponents on the minimap. A large number of viable weapons instead of a few high-performing outliers. A large number of maps, 14, which are well designed. Fast gameplay like older Call of Duty. I didn't realize Call of Duty had kind of changed the pace of combat because I always
It's
remember it being super fast.
yeah. I
Interesting.
I haven't played Call of Duty in years, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, ditto. Huh. Solid time to kill and G sliding, which I don't know what that is, but apparently.
Anybody
a big
want to
deal.
explain to me what a G slide is? I didn't know that either. I should have looked it up. But yeah, Exclusive Ace has finally got some time with X Defiant Beta and I'm absolutely loving it so far. It brings back so many feelings from the older Call of Duties that have been lost over the past 4 years. The controller feels much better on PS5 compared to previous tests. Here's what's working for me. And he just kind of shows. Let's see if I can actually get it to go full screen. Will you go full screen on me, please? Please? No, you will not because you're a dick. So yeah, lots of people actually saying that this could, I'm gonna say a Call of Duty killer, but certainly competition for Call of Duty, in that it does all the right things. So, that would be great if Ubisoft can actually pull that off, but it's Ubisoft.
Yes, let's hold our praise. We have seen Ubisoft's track record. Let's hold any praise until the game comes out and lives more than a year.
No, get me wrong. The dirtbag capitalist in me that put
way too much money.
Way too much money in Ubisoft stock. Really, really wants this to succeed. But I have my doubts.
I mean, you know what?
This is Ubisoft.
It's funny. I remember you telling me you bought a bunch of Ubisoft stock when there were a bunch of rumors that they were gonna sell, that they wanted to get sold. And then there was that story like about a month ago when I think the story was that Ubisoft was looking to sell, but like the price they asked, everyone just kind of laughed about the room.
At them. Yeah.
I'm like, no, we're not going to buy you for $80 billion.
Yeah.
You're not an Activision. I just pulled that number out of my ass.
I can't remember what it was. I think that was.
I don't think there was a number, but I have this image of Yves going like, we're worth the same as Activision. Yeah.
Yeah. Chenderbreck says, hold those shares. I'm holding them because I don't have any other option to hold them because I've lost so much that at this point, no reason to sell. There's just there's nothing to save at this point. They could go down to zero. They could go out of business. And at this point, I couldn't be hurt that much more than I already have. But on the plus side, I can still go to the Ubisoft investor calls.
Just rag on Yves.
You need to leave. Get out, you loser. We hate you. You suck. They don't appreciate that in investor calls.
Oh, I'm sure. That doesn't mean you can't do it.
Sure. G sliding is apparently sliding, but going much farther than normal by using special techniques. It came from Call of Duty Black Ops 3, but was removed. It's been in multiple games.
Hmm.
I think that.
I wonder if that is like, okay, so rewind. In Gears of War, there was a trick that people did in the multiplayer for Gears of War that was like, that was one of the early like cover-based shooters, right? Mm-hmm. So you kind of go up to cover and you hit the A button and your character like magnetizes into cover. And that's how you would get into cover, is you wouldn't just duck behind the wall. You would hit a button to specifically...
The cover would be I called it being sticky. You would stick to the wall.
Yeah, you would stick to the wall. There was some sort of technique that I think people did where if they mashed that and then the roll button over and over again, you could like shoot through that game like a bullet. For a game, that game was like notoriously slow paced. Like the characters were really lumbering. But if you did that kind of like stick and dodge, I think you could basically move through the map really, really fast. And it made playing against people that would do that a massive pain in the ass because the characters were bullet sponges. So I'm sitting there with a rifle, unloading a clip into this guy rolling toward me. Then he stands up, shoots me once with a shotgun. I go flying to pieces, and he just goes rolling on his merry way. And I fucking hated them.
Mass Effect used the same thing, but it was a cover system where you could pick the cover where you were about to go and hit X, and it would your character would very quickly transport over there. So it didn't make you bulletproof, but it made you much harder to hit than if you actually ran there on your own.
And so I wonder if that's what G-sliding is. If it was a thing that the people who were good at the game loved because it allowed them to trounce the average player, and that's why it got taken out.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, maybe I won't like X-Defiant.
We'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic. And reading, I was not optimistic at all. I thought it was just another loser game until that Forbes article, and that makes me a little bit curious about it. So Chenderbox says news, Dead Island 2 comes out next week. Woohoo! Been excited since the release. They released that great trailer so long ago. Yeah, I don't know. We played the crap out of Dead Island when it first came out, especially Goalie. You guys know the story of what we did in Dead Island, but actually it was Goalie that started it, and then we just kept perpetuating it. Y'all know that story? We would get.
AC Rate says that maybe G-sliding is not quite the same as the bullshit in Gears, so maybe it's okay.
I wonder if Goalie is still here. And I think that, I never heard of anybody else doing it, but it was the funniest thing to us is that we would, it'd be like 2 or 3 of us, and as a 4-person group, and we'd open it up to a stranger, and a stranger would come in. And of course, there was chat and stuff. And we would convince whoever showed up in the game with us that if you kicked one of the beach balls 500 meters, that you get an achievement. And sure enough, people would just sit there and kick the balls. And they just keep kicking them and going, isn't it 500 meters yet? No, not yet. Not yet. And they just go around kicking the balls until they realized that we were totally sending them on a snipe hunt. And it was so freaking funny because then it would slowly dawn on them that we've been making them, that we essentially lied to them and made them kick a beach ball for like 20 minutes in the game. So funny. So funny. Those are the days. So yes, by the way, in fact, I think when we went to PAX and they talked about it wasn't Dead Island 2, it was the next, it was like
Riptide.
Riptide, Dead Island Riptide. We actually talked to the developers and told them what we did and asked them if they could put in an achievement for kicking a beach ball 500 yards. So that if we went in again next time, that if we told them that, if we happen to be that 1 or 2 people that are, like of those people that played in the past and told them that, and it's like, I remember you made me kick it. And it's like, no, really, no, it's an achievement now.
No, this time it's real.
It's real. It's really an achievement. So that's the first thing I'm going to do in Dead Island 2 is I'm going to kick the.
I think it does take place in LA, so I think there is a beach.
It's got to have beach balls. If it doesn't have beach balls, it's not.
It's called Dead Island, right? It has to have a beach.
It has to have beach balls. Otherwise, it is not Dead Island. There's 3 things required in Dead Island: swimsuits, zombies, and beach balls. That's the game right there. And yeah, when Dead Island 2 comes out, is it going to be on Game Pass? Do we know?
I don't think so.
That's a shame.
I haven't heard any news story about it.
Gender, if you're playing that, just because I like you and I like playing with the listeners, I would pick up Dead Island just to play with you. Just saying, I will. By the way, I read that released the PC specs for Dead Island 2, and I didn't look because I'm not a PC player, but the specs are out in case you care. And I'm assuming it's going to be crossplay, because crossplay at this point is like everything's crossplay. If you're not crossplay, you're an outlier. Any other stories you got?
No, I'm trying to find a list of Dead Island 2 achievements, but all the stuff I could find is like just progression based.
Yeah.
But they don't have a full list out yet.
Well, if they don't put it in, then I'm going to have to hunt them down in the lobby for Dead Island 3 for the beach ball achievement.
I guess this is just something that I found while scrolling around. The director of the Gran Turismo movie had said that he's taking inspiration from Top Gun Maverick and wants to use real cars on real tracks to, driving fast to film all of the racing scenes, which, sounds really cool. I approve of that. What I didn't realize is that the director of Gran Turismo is Neil Blomkamp, the guy who did District 9.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I did not. I was wondering at some point in the past of whatever happened to him, because I know he directed a couple less popular movies and then kind of went and did some short films and then kind of disappeared for a bit. And if he is doing Gran Turismo, I'm interested. That makes me kind of excited. I didn't realize he was directing it.
Yeah, but you're gonna love it because you love all bad movies. Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay. I wasn't gonna bring this up. I watched.
Yes.
I watched the video that you recommended, Mr. Dungeon Craft. That video review.
Yeah.
I was right. That guy sounds like a pedantic motherfucker. The kind of asshole rule Nazi that you don't want to play with. I sent you a quote. I'm going to quote that I sent you the text that was like, as soon as he said this line, I was like, yeah, he sounds exactly like I thought he would.
I'm trying to pull it up right now. Where's your text? There you go.
I will quote, how does the Forgotten Realms have a tax base to fund a Supermax prison? And I was like, fuck you. Just fuck you. If you're watching a movie and going, there's a prison, how does this snowy wasteland have a tax base on the prison? I was like, you sound like the kind of asshole who is so deep into the lore that you're like, wait a minute.
He's a DM.
Mm-hmm.
He's a DM. Of course he's into the lore.
And you know what? It explains it later on in the video. He's like, they have all these, Dungeons and Dragons has all of these popular characters. I get something called Drizzt, which I know, there's a bunch of novels about Drizzt has a character. And he's like, oh, the lore of all these characters is so deep. Why don't they make a movie about that? And it's very clearly someone who is so invested in the lore of this universe that when there's a Dungeons and Dragons movie, they want a high fantasy Lord of the Rings-esque retelling of the lore of the universe. Whereas what most other people wanted is a movie that feels like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, which is you and your friends goofing off. That's what the movie is. And oh my God, he's complaining at the end of the movie. Takes place in this arena where these platforms are moving up and down. And he's like, how are these platforms moving up and down? They never explain it. This is so stupid. And it's like, what the fuck? You want them to pause the movie and explain the mechanisms of the set piece? It's like, God, like I said, pedantic asshole. And I stand by that nothing else he said is any other video. I applied no meaning to that.
Well, I'm gonna promote his channel just to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, you should promote it. It has don't bother watching this guy because
Nick was not impressed.
Highly not. it's like I said, it's a guy who is so deep into the lore that he's failed to appreciate the movie for a movie, and all he can think of is this doesn't follow the lore. What I don't remember the lore saying there's a supermax prison in this wasteland. That this is absurd. What's that transatlantic accent? That's exactly what he sounds like.
Clutching his pearls. Oh my goodness.
Okay, what is it? How does the Forgotten Realms have
tax space to have a supermax prison?
That's absurd, I tell you.
Absurd.
Unrealistic. So yes, you sent me the video, and I wanted to be fair to you, so I watched it, and I was just like, oh my god, this guy.
Well,
so my point is, his reaction is not the general consensus about the movie. I even scrolled down.
My neighbor's quote was, "It could not have been worse."
I scrolled throughout the comments longer than I've ever scrolled on any other video, and 99.9% of the comments were like, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I don't know what you were expecting. I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. I took my friends. We loved it. I took my Dungeons and Dragons crew. We all loved it. We loved it. We liked it. We liked it. We loved it. So, yes.
It was what I wanted out of a D&D film. It was fun, not dark and edgy. There were dragons and there were dungeons. Yeah, well, that and my neighbor happened on the same day, where my neighbor said it could not have been worse.
Which, hey, your neighbor, fine. They are entitled to their own opinion. I have not, look, I don't know why your neighbor didn't like it. He could have perfectly valid reasons for not liking it.
Yeah.
Mr. Dungeoncraft, invalid reasons for not liking it. I'm saying it now. His opinion is invalid. It does not apply. It is his, nope.
Tinderbuck says, sounds like what happened with the Warcraft movie being bombed by fanboys because they didn't follow the lore. I liked it.
I don't think I ever saw it.
The Warcraft movie, did you like? Or the Dungeons and Dragons movie you like?
I never saw the Warcraft movie.
I never saw the Warcraft movie.
But you know what? You should watch the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Whenever it comes out on a
Netflix.
Digital rental.
Netflix. Yeah, totally.
You should check it out.
Yep. Tinderbox says, news, Halo franchise director has left Microsoft. Yeah, heard that.
Oh, I vaguely heard something. I don't think it was Frank O'Connor. I thought it was someone else. Basically someone else leaving Halo that was like, oh boy, Halo's kind of fucked.
Yeah. What's it? Halo director leaves Microsoft.
Who's leaving 343 Studios? Oh,
yep. Frank O'Connor may have left Microsoft after working on the series for almost 20 years. LinkedIn suggests he's no longer working for Microsoft and 343 Industries on Halo, though this hasn't been confirmed officially.
Okay, I was looking at, I guess the Halo Infinite director left 343 Studios in January.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Halo Infinite, not in a good place.
Halo in general, not in a good place.
Yes.
Because I mean, if Halo, much of the hopes and dreams of Microsoft on Halo were tied to Halo Infinite. If Halo Infinite fails as much as it seems to be failing, I believe this is the last Halo that you will see.
I don't think that's the case.
For a long time. Maybe not a Beyond Good and Evil long time, but maybe like a,
I think they've definitely switched directions, because this was supposed to be like the Halo game that everything else, like this was a platform, right? It wasn't just Halo 6. It was Halo Infinite. It's like, oh, all other Halo stuff is going to begin here.
This is the hub.
Yeah.
For all.
And then that didn't work out. And it didn't work out to such a degree that 343 said the next Halo game, or like those shifting engines to Unreal Engine 5, as opposed to what they've been doing now. And that to me says there's going to at least be another Halo game because they got to ship it on this new engine. But the fact that they switched engines says that whatever grand plans they had for Halo Infinite are completely scrapped.
True. So,
yeah,
we're winding down. I think it's time. I'm, sufficiently. I've gotten rather drunk and now sobering up. So now is a good time to stop so I can go out and wash my car and make
the
dinner.
old car or the new car?
New car.
Oh, that's right. No, it's got to be the old car because the new car. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can't wash Tesla.
You can wash Teslas. You
You
wash
just have
it
to have
with Optimum
special
No
stuff.
Rinse. ONR. Yeah. No, I'm doing it. I've actually been soaking my sponge overnight because it was brand new, and supposedly you have to soak the sponge overnight before you use it the first time.
All this just to wash a car.
Tesla's paint notoriously looks gorgeous and sucks, so you got to be very careful with it.
So high maintenance.
It is high maintenance, but it's a Tesla. And it's
I'm just waiting for the first time a bird poops on it.
Yeah. The first time a bird
they poop on the top, and you can actually look up and see
the poop on the roof. You can because it's got a glass roof. Actually, no, I already paid for the old car to be fully detailed by a mobile detailer. Holy crap, that car looks like it just drove off. Oh my god, that car looks new on the inside. Outside, not so much, but the inside looks freaking new. It's amazing. So
that's good because the inside is the hardest part to clean.
Yes, I had him shampoo everything. He shampooed the roof, the ceiling of the car. That's how far he went in. It looks amazing. And of course, I got in it today to take it to go get it smogged, and birds had already pooped on it.
It even says, and a bird poops on it.
And a bird pooped on it. Yep. $260 to have it detailed, and a bird poops on it. So yeah, I gotta go wipe off the bird poop off of the old car. Now the new car has no bird poop. It is, as far as I know, bird poop free.
Okay, were they like parked next to each other?
No. One of them was across the street where there is a and I had to look. I'm like, what? Where were the birds? And there is there's poles on the other side of the street, and there is an electrical line. Now I've parked on that spot many times for years. I have lived on this street for 30 years, and I have street parked the entire time. Never once have I had birds poop on my car just because it was across the street. But at one bird has to be the same bird, same mother effing bird that did twice. He went twice.
Hey, he just really had to go.
I know, they were little either. They were big old ones. Well, I don't know what that bird was eating.
Other birds.
It went up to bird Chipotle or what? But that thing just let loose on my windshield. So anyway, I gotta go. I'm not gonna worry about washing off the bird poop on that one because it's gonna be super easy. But yeah, I'm gonna wash the Tesla because it did not come from the Tesla dealership as clean as I would have hoped. But
I don't know. When you brought it by, it looked pretty clean. It looked pretty nice.
It looked nice, yeah. But like because you have to inspect your Tesla before you drive it off. Because another thing about Teslas is that their quality control is not right up with other cars, so you kind of got to inspect it. I mean, I had a checklist of inspections to do. And in the process of inspecting it, I noticed that like there was this white stuff that I believe was the protectant that they put on the Teslas when they transport it. It's just underneath the hood. You could see this kind of white powdery substance. Either that or it's cocaine. I don't know.
Oh yeah, someone's just doing lines off the new Tesla. And then
Somebody
like,
possibly
the woman's coming, clean it up.
It was literally the Tesla in Sunnyvale. So I went to like uber Tesla dealership, the quintessential Tesla dealership. So I could absolutely see lines being done off the hood of my Tesla.
Was the guy who sold it to you like really energetic?
Yes. Yes. And energetic and smarmy in a way that if I'd actually gone to them to buy the car, I never would have bought the car. Now I went to a different dealership. Nice. Georgina, she was so nice. And then I went down to Sunnyvale. It's like, ugh, God, you're slimy. Ew. It was just like I walked in there, instantly felt awkward. Like, you do not
for the
want
premium
my
you
kind
pay for
here.
the Tesla. They should have just given you a line as well.
They should have. I wouldn't know. I've never once. Not even.
I mean, you
not
got
even
them
once.
on your car. It's there.
That's true.
To test it out.
I could like, you know.
Hey, you found a random powdery substance. Why
I don't even know. I mean, I couldn't tell. What do I know? I've never done, so I would not know.
Apparently,
it might be car wax, and I would not know the difference.
Apparently, like if you get some on your finger and taste it, you can taste it. Right? Yeah. You can tell the difference. That's what I've learned from all the cop shows.
I agree that for the premium I paid, it should have been perfect. I 1000% agree. But because that dealership was absolute effing chaos, it was beyond chaotic.
Really?
Because it was March 31st. It was the last day to pick up your Tesla, to take possession of your Tesla, to be certain to be qualified for the $7,500 tax break.
Oh, so you weren't the only person doing that?
No.
Oh. I thought that was kind of like a little.
No. March was the biggest month. I'm guarantee you. We don't see the numbers now, but I can guarantee you March was the biggest month that Tesla's had yet. In fact, the best thing that ever happened to Tesla was them being threatened to be removed from that $7,500 tax break, because everybody that was thinking about getting a Tesla all got it in March. And the last day to get it was the 31st, and it was absolute pandemonium. Picking up that car. It took me 2.5 hours to pick up the car because I was waiting in line. I was waiting in line to talk to somebody to say, I'd like to pick up my car, please. Yeah, no, it was bad. So at that point, I just got the car, inspected it, and got the F out of there, because it was like Black Friday inside that place. So yeah, I'm sure if you went now, it would be a very different place. And I actually asked the guy, is it normally, in fact, the last thing I said to Mr. Smarmy was like, is it normally this big a shit show, or is this because of the March 31st thing? And he's like, it's the March 31st thing. I'm like, okay. I think he was a little taken aback that I called it a shit show. But I don't think that there's any other description that could have been made of what was going on there. It was horrible. And of course, it was all the technorati who were all down there that expect to be, served hand and foot. And they were all looking to pick up their cars.
What?
And
I have to wait in a line?
And they have to wait in a line. Oh, the toddlers were out in force. Oh my God. Everybody was yelling and screaming. And I'm like, look, guys, get real. It's fine. It's like, I'm here to pick up my Series S. It's like, okay, fine. But we're all going to get served.
You're here for the Series S. That's not the expensive one. So that
is the expensive one, actually.
Is it? I thought Series X was. Or am I thinking Xbox?
You're thinking Xbox. The Series S, I believe, is the most expensive one. Let me look.
Is there a Series X?
Well, yeah. Tesla.com. So the let's see, Tesla models. There is the let's see. I'm looking up pocketlint.com. All right. So we are looking at continue without supporting you. The Tesla Model S starts at $94,000. Sorry, the Model S Plaid starts at, I think, like 105,000. So, and then the Model 3 is at 42,000. The Model X is at that's the Model X starts at 109,000. There we go. The Model X Plaid. That's what it is. It is the X is the big one.
Okay.
That's the one with the doors that, the seagull doors that open.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, AC right there. They've got an S, a 3, an X, and a Y.
Right. And then the Y starts at 54. And then the Cybertruck, which is in theory coming out at 39,000, which I do not effing believe for a hot minute that it's going to be
very, very cheap.
Yeah, it does. And also it is ugly AF. Have you seen them?
Oh yeah, I've seen them. It looks like a PS2 game.
It does. It looks like something out of like either like Cyberpunk 2077. There we go. No, there we go. Yeah. That doesn't look good.
It looks
doesn't
fake.
look good. I'm gonna say it. That's an ugly car. That's an ugly vehicle. Period. The end. Ugly vehicle.
Yeah, agreed. That it looks dumb.
It looks dumb. The only place that would look good is in that background right there, where like a desert background, where it looks like Mad Max on like modern. That's the only place. So, oh yeah, there we go. There's the Roadsters. Yeah, that's the expensive ones, the $200,000 ones.
Okay,
but those are coming. Those aren't out yet. Look at that red, dude. Look at that red. Tesla red. It's just the best thing ever. But yeah, the X is the one with the seagull wings. So yeah, or Back to the Future movie. Yeah, it looks like something out of Popular Mechanics 1950 of what the future would look like. Or sorry, 1980 of what the future would look like.
Why? Because in theory, like that's a much more efficient way to open a door because like, you park into a spot and you have to open the door and you're like, oh shit, there's another car there. So I'm going to open halfway and then kind of squeeze out. But if it just opens vertically, you don't have to do that. You don't need that extra room for the door.
Nope.
But I've heard like there's other design issues with those kind of flywing doors that make them impractical usually to put on a car.
Yeah, the doors that actually make the most amount of sense for all vehicles is the DeLorean door, the ones that flip up, the ones that fold up. That is the best door by far.
But I thought there's some kind of design issue with that. Like maybe it puts more stress on the hinges that makes it fail more often.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does because you have to have doors. I mean, the whole modern safety stuff. The doors have to be a certain amount of heavy in order to be safe. So they're going to be pretty heavy.
Yeah, you've got to.
And then you're suspending those, in the air,
and then you have to let go, and it's got to stay there.
It's got to stay there,
and that's a lot of weight to be putting on a tiny little point.
Multi-story car parks, low ceilings. Good point.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So actually, the seagull wings are probably a better deal for that, but. Regardless, I'm never gonna own one. I mean, I paid what I was expecting to pay for an electric vehicle. Period. The end. It wasn't that this vehicle was any more expensive. In fact, once I have all of the like bonuses from the government and like local stuff, because I get $2,000 from the state, I get $7,500 from the government. So when I'm done, this is actually going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than what I paid for it. But this was essentially what I expected to pay for an electric vehicle. So it's not like when you say pay a premium, I really didn't. Like I was quoted $1,000 more for a Hyundai without the benefit of the $7,400. So actually this was cheaper, but it's Tesla. I love it. I wish I was a heartbeat in a TARDIS shaped like a DeLorean. What? I wish I was a heartbeat in a TARDIS shaped like a DeLorean.
I understand all those words.
I don't understand them together. Agreed. They don't make sense.
He wants a TARDIS machine shaped like a DeLorean, but he wants to exist as a fleeting heartbeat in the engine of that DeLorean?
Like Kit? I don't know what you're saying. Run, Lola, run. Doctor Who, Back to the Future, merge reference.
Okay.
Wow. That's deep.
I haven't seen Run, Lola, Run, so that's why I didn't.
Really? Oh.
I've wanted to, because I know it's one of those. It's one of those like tell the same story from different points of view, right?
Yeah, it's iconic. Yeah. Yes. Very, very big movie. You should see it. Yeah. Even I saw that. All right. Can we close this out? I need to go wash a car.
Sure. I will say one thing. One more thing, and this is just for you. I saw on Netflix they came out with a new movie that I guess is like the series finale for The Last Kingdom. It's called like The Last Kingdom, 7 Kings Must Die. And I guess it's meant to be like the series finale.
Oh, okay.
So just letting you know that. I'm still on season 3 of that show.
I'm gonna watch Last Kingdom. I'm getting closer all the time. The fact that I'm selling like the Vibe, which was my husband's car, like his first car, that's kind of a big moment for me to let go of Kevin's car. So I'm slowly in the process of finishing up things that remind me of him. Like I just
that was
the last Coca-Cola, the last Diet Coke, because he was a Diet Coke addict, loved the stuff. Even at the very last, he was drinking 4 or 5 of them a day. And so we always had like a stack of Diet Coke. And I just finished the last Diet Coke of the last like 12 pack that he bought, which I don't really drink Diet Coke. So it would last. So I would, each, every once in a while I would grab him like, yeah, I'll have a Diet Coke. And I finally had the last one and finished off the last one. It was kind of like, okay, it's done. It's over. That happened. That was the last of Kevin's Coke. I'm selling his car. It's like, okay, I'm selling Kevin's car.
I didn't know that was the show that you did together.
Yes, absolutely. I'm really, really, really glad we finished up the Good Place. I'm really glad we finished up the Good Place together before he got sick.
That would be hard to watch afterwards.
Yeah, no. I never would have been. And this we watched it before he got sick. So thank God we watched it before he got sick. Yeah, that would have wrecked both of us. Certainly me. I would have never watched television again after that. So yeah, I'm slowly working my way to watching The Last Kingdom.
I just remember you were the one that got me into that one. And so when I saw the movie, I was like, oh, I should let Edie know. That
if you have not watched The Last Kingdom, I am, what's his name?
Uhtred.
I'm an Uhtred.
Son of Uhtred.
I'm Uhtred, son of Uhtred. Yeah. He's pretty badass. And the whole show is just pretty awesome. If you haven't watched it, highly recommend from like show 1. It's badass. All right. Anyway, let's do this. Let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds episode 676. We recorded this on Sunday, April 16th, 2023. I've been Edie Sellers, and with me has been Vicky Nicola. If you ever want to get a hold of us, gamehounds.net is our website. Gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and on Twitch. On YouTube, we are at GameHounds Vids. That's VIDS as in videos. And on Twitch, we are the GameHounds. If you're watching on either one of those different places, hit the like and or subscribe and or whatever button. And if you are an Amazon Prime member and you have not already used your Amazon Prime subscription on Twitch, let me ask you, please, please, please sign up for us. Use your free, absolutely no extra cost to you, free subscription, and go to Twitch and subscribe to us. It really makes a difference. So thank you very much if you've done that. Also, thank you to all of our subscribers on Twitch. So awesome that you're there. And Chunderbox, I know you're one of them. I can't remember everybody. Thank you so much. Also, we are 100% Patreon funded. We're not getting rich off of this. You just pay for all the systems that happen here in front of us, all of the video systems and the subscriptions. You can find our Patreon at patreon.com/GameHounds. If you would like to give us a little bit of money, $1 a month is all we ask in order to help us offset the cost of this show and still bring it to you every Sunday. If you figure it out, do the math, that's like at the most 25 cents an episode. So please do join Patreon. Thank you to our patrons, Tori the Weege, Peter Camo, Eric Baker, Anonymous, Pissed, Andy H. You do make all of this possible. And also, we have a Discord. If you haven't joined our Discord, please go to our Discord. The link is on the screen, or you can go to our Facebook page, which is the GameHounds on Facebook. And you can find our link there and come hang out with us in the Discord channel. I was seeing stuff show up on the Discord channel as we were doing the show. So thank you so much to everybody on the Discord channel. We will talk to you next week. Don't forget, if you want to listen to us in the audio podcast, iTunes, iHeartRadio, look for GameHounds Podcast. Also on Audible and all the other places you find podcasts. Have a great week, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, audio out. Video still here.
Yep.
All right, I gotta go wash a car. Maybe
Okay.
wash a dog.
Have fun.
Yeah,
One cat has disappeared on me. The other still sleeping.
the other cat is doing spiking its coffee.
He's spiking the water bowl.
It's spiking the water ball.
That explains so much.
Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for being in the chat room. By the way, I couldn't name all the people because we ran out of time. But Chunder, thank you for being here. AC Wraith, of course, our link bitch.
Yes.
God, you're awesome.
Even
Vice,
if you're
thank you for
Russian spy.
siding with me on occasion. I appreciate that. And we've got a couple of other people in here. Bitters, of course. Awesome. And
Goalie for a hot second.
Let's not forget I see Elzio Helsing and I have to translate it. Blood Reaper, thank you so much every week. God, you are here every single time we go live. I notice you're there, and I'm so thankful for you doing that because it does make a difference, and I love to see you there. Who else we had? We had a couple of other people that were new. Retro Rents All AL. If I didn't see you other than saying hi, but I hope you're still here, and if you are, hi. So we'll see you next week. I'm gonna go wash my Tesla. Bye, everyone.